Record.
And I'll record a little as well. All right, let me just take a sip of my lemon.
Lem.
I'm ready to go. Hey, Upper East Siders, and welcome back to another episode of the Lonely Boys podcast. My name is Matt. I'm one of your titular Lonely Boys, and I'm here to break down Season 5, Episode 20 of Gossip Girl, Salon of the Dead. I'm not here by myself. I'm here with someone who may have been relevant in high school, but who gives a shit about him now? It's Brendan Ruppel.
That's true. Hello, I'm your co-host, of course, the creepy uncle of podcasting, aka Uncle Cream. High Date Load of Cremation recording live as always from the crematorium. I'm the editor-in-chief here at Cream Weekly. Dr. Officer Cream reporting for duty. Cream, yes, cream.
Yes, cream.
And A-cabs. All creams are bastards. A-cabs. The little A-cabs.
A-cabs. Little A-cabs for you today.
Don't forget to take your A-cabs to school, honey.
Brendan, you may notice it feels a little lonely today because no guests, just me, you, and Bebop today.
Yeah, it's been a long time since the Lonely Boys have felt lonely.
I know. So we had another last-minute quit, and, I did have time to find a sub, but the vast majority of the subs on our sub roster are either coming up in the next couple of weeks or they have just been on. So it's like, you don't want to double dip, so...
Once in a while, people might crave this. Who knows? Maybe they like this kind of shit.
I asked Gabby if she wanted to come on, but she was busy today. So I said, let's just do solo.
Who needs
dolo.
the pescoos? I don't need the pescoos.
That's what I said, actually. I was at work, and I put my phone down, and I just loudly said, who needs the pescoos?
And I felt it. I was like, I don't need the pescoos. And
you said that at work, too?
Yeah, right after you said your part.
Wow. How about that?
Yeah.
Well... there's no I don't know what to do. It's been so long. It's been so long since we've had no guests. I'd usually ask the guest something right now. Now I have to ask you, Brendan. Favorite segment. Has anything weird happened to you since the last time we podcasted?
I guess this isn't like super weird, but I did make mental note of this in case this came up. But I saw Mike Christopherson at the gym last week.
Oh,
yeah.
I'm gonna see him. Maybe this weekend.
Oh, okay. I wasn't sure if he still hung out with good friend Pete from Banter Boys. You guys all know and love now. But I was like, yeah, good to see you, man. I haven't seen you in a long time. Maybe I'll see you at Pete sometime. If I were to run into him, it would be at Pete's house for some weird crossover event.
No, Pete has made it very clear that he's Mike's cut off. He's done with Mike.
See, I'm glad I brought this up. This is the kind of juice I'm hoping to get.
I'm sure. I'm sure that you were at his house once and he was talking about it. He'll give you the exact day that he was. I can't remember the exact date, but it was the Saturday of that Thanksgiving weekend. So the Saturday after Thanksgiving of 2022. Mike organized a whole Islanders game for us to go to at the new arena, and he did not tell Pete about it. And Pete, Mr. Islanders, so Pete said he's done with Mike. That's it. That was the.
Now it's even funnier that I said. I think the last thing I said to Mike was like, maybe I'll see you at Pete sometime soon. Does he know he's cut off, or he just hasn't heard from Pete?
I don't think so. Pete doesn't usually tell people when they enter his book of banishment.
All right, so it wasn't so weird for me to say. He's probably like, yeah, maybe I will. I haven't seen him in a while. I could use some Pete.
He's probably just like, yeah, I haven't heard from Pete in a while. That's kind of weird.
So this is actually also relevant. Like, speaking of Pete and talking about Banter Boys recently, you'll never guess what I just did on Sunday. I don't know if Pete told you this. He's getting he's getting a lot of airtime up front.
Yeah, people are clamoring ever since Banter Boys episode 1. What did you do?
You don't know.
I don't know.
Okay, so
no.
he texted me on Sunday, the beautiful day we had, 60-degree weather.
Yeah,
timestamp.
Really nice day.
Really nice day.
I walked home. I got home. I took a train back home from Connecticut, and I told my mom, "Hey, don't even bother coming to pick me up at the train station. I'm walking it.
I'm taking the Nike Express, baby."
That's right.
But I think I got back from. I had a whole morning. I ran a bunch of miles. I played blitzball with Chris, and then it was all done by like 2:00. I was showering up and stuff like that. I got a text from Pete saying, "Brewery?" ? I was like, "Oh, Pete
this
knows
is ringing a bell now."
Yeah, Pete knows my poison." And I was like, yeah, it's only 2:00, and it's like the most beautiful day of the year, so I'll go." He's like, "All right, cool. Me and Ruth are going to this place in a half hour." I was like,
force the friendship.
I see what's happening here. So I said, never mind. I'm not going. No, so he's like, but he made it clear. He's like, you and Nicole. This is you and Nicole's invite. So then the four of us, we had a double date at Smart Craft Brewery in Amityville. It was very funny.
Yes, so the group chat has been very active again. Now that DeRosa and Pete are friends again,
Right.
actually a new group chat has been created because Pete left the old one, so Pete now created a new one with the same people. Um,
Other one's dead. The
yeah,
issues are buried.
he would never ask to be let back into to a group chat. He'd rather just create another one. But it's been too active for me to keep track of. Actually, I'm
Oh.
well behind on it. But um, yeah, on Sunday he was asking people if they want to go to the brewery. I was saying that I was going to be on a train, and then I saw DeRosa said, "Did you just happen to run into Brendan, or was this planned?" So
Mhm.
I did realize that you must have been involved in some capacity, but
Yeah, yeah,
it's since forgotten.
yeah. We hung out, had a blast. Saw Stephanie Ingenito there of Lindy fame.
Oh, Lindenhurst legend, get her on the
Legend's
pod.
legend.
She'll back out. We could get a sub on.
Yeah, her Molly Kelly and Ryan Meehan were also there as
Me,
well.
I ran into Ryan Meehan at a bar once with I believe it was Mary Carroll's, and I believe I was with friends of the pod, Lita Brillman and Sam Stanish, uh, and Ryan Meehan could not be a nicer guy. I always bring him up
Yeah,
when we're talking about the nice guys of Lindenhurst, and
yep.
Ganesh agrees.
I saw him on the way out. I didn't even. I don't think I even saw him, but Pete said that he was in there when we were leaving. I had bumped into him at a brewery in Lindenhurst before with Molly Kelly, and he like talked to me for like a half hour.
Yeah,
And like, what?
see, it's funny that
I wanted to talk for probably like 10 minutes, and he took it to a half hour. But very, very
it's funny
friendly guy.
it's funny that Pete was there because when me and Ganesh were talking about how Ryan Meehan is one of the classic examples of a nice guy that we know from Lyndhurst, Pete was like, "You guys must be talking to Ryan Meehan a lot more than I do." So Pete had a
Well,
chance.
yes.
He had a chance to
could
test
have
the
done it.
theory for himself, and he didn't. You think people are liking this Lindenhurst chat?
I don't know. I don't know. I don't know if when they see just the no guest on the title, if they're going to be like, "Oh, here we go, some Lindy Goss," or if they
Well,
don't care.
switch it up a little bit. I went to a concert on Thursday. I saw Twin Temple. Did I tell you about who Twin Temple are?
Maybe you definitely mentioned this
Never.
concert, but I don't know if you told me who it was.
Yeah, I'd never heard of them. They're a married duo, and they are a satanic doo-wop group.
Oh, maybe. I know. I think we were talking a lot about Satan
Say
stuff
as we do.
recently. Yeah.
Yeah,
I think
yeah, it was
our
very
YouTube channel
interesting.
is Boys Media 666. It's
Yeah,
not a joke.
great.
So
They ended the show. They each bring out a Bible and they rip it all up and they throw the pages into the crowd. So I do have
Every
like
time?
4 ripped up Bible pages in my our show. I haven't only been to the one show, so I don't know.
so,
And then when
yeah.
and then when they like come out for the encore, the guy is holding like this little tiny baby doll, and the wife comes out with like a sword, and she goes to stab the baby, and then it cuts to black. I got a really good picture of it just by
Oh, that
accident.
sounds cool.
Yeah, was it? So it was very interesting. I laugh every time. Like just the backup singers, like anytime like a doo-wop group is just going like Satan, it just makes me laugh. Satan, and then they got the crowd involved. They were like, "Come on!" and everyone was like, "Satan," but in a
That does
cheerful
sound fun.
doo-wop way. It was very.
That was
fun.
in Connecticut.
No. I went to Connecticut the day after. I went straight from the city. That was in the city.
Oh, okay.
So I went to the city Thursday night, stayed over, then left for Connecticut Friday. We went to the championship for trivia.
was the
That's why I was going to
trivia.
Connecticut.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, there were 18 teams that made the championship, and going into final, we were 7th out of 18th. So
All right.
pretty good, I think.
A little
Um,
higher than middle.
Yeah, and then but the thing we bet it all, lost final, so we end up technically in a tie for last with 0. But going into final,
Because of how
I was
you
pretty proud of.
bet yourselves.
Yeah,
Okay.
you got to wager it all if you're going for the win.
Yeah.
First place got $1,600.
Whew.
I know.
And you got 0.
And we got 0 because if we had gotten it right, it would have put us into 3rd. So we could have.
Oh,
It was
wow.
the right
Okay.
move to I think
Yeah.
wager a lot. But I don't know. The question was to name 8 of the 12 founding member countries of NATO.
Couldn't do
Tough
it.
one.
Tough one.
Yeah. If we won, we would have had enough money to host our own salon, which brings us into this episode.
Hell yeah! Fuck yeah!
Crowd goes wild. The episode is Salon of the Dead. Brendan, do you have any idea what they're referencing?
It's Dawn of the Dead, bro.
All right, now, Brendan, according to
Or, is
Wikipedia,
it Shaun of the Dead? No fucking way.
well, that now,
Oh, come on. Well, it starts with an
See,
S, so it could be Shaun of the Dead, but Shaun of the Dead is the parody of Dawn, so I would guess it would be the original. I'm going to say Dawn of the Dead.
Now, I will tell you that the Wikipedia says that it is referencing the 2004 film Shaun of the Dead.
Well, because of the S.
But Dawn of the Dead.
Shaun references Dawn.
It's referencing Dawn of the Dead. So I don't know how they make. So I don't know. Should we give you?
I said both before you said what it was.
You did.
Yeah.
You knew what was going on here.
Yeah.
I don't know what they're love when they give you those noodles. Let me not get this. Let me not get distracted by the group chat. I'm gonna give you credit. If anyone has a problem with this, obviously, feel free to phone in, and we will.
I think they heard me show my work. As
they did, along, yeah. The one of the rare times that showing your work actually helped you. It almost hurt you last one.
I should show my work when I feel confident in my choice, not when I'm trying to grasp at straws.
Scramble,
or grasp at noodles, I should say. I love when you get those.
So you're now 12 for 20, Brendan, which means you clinch 50% out of nowhere.
This is fucking
even if
easy.
you need one more to get over 50%. If you go 0 for 4 to end the season, you'll end at 12 for 24. But I think you got this.
Hey, I've been too humble.
Hey.
I'm easy. Been too humble.
I'm easy, baby.
Come get me.
Original air date, Brendan, April 16th, 2012. We are nearing towards our graduation. You still hadn't gotten your graduation gown yet? No?
No.
And we start with a shot that genuinely made me laugh out loud. Someone just dropped a drone from a building and they decided to keep it in the episode to demonstrate the point that what goes up must come down. I feel like they had new filming technology and they just wanted to...
Good for them.
Show it off. We're also starting with that song that you could hear on any Apple commercial or whatever during this time period. Take me to your best friend's house. Tongue-tied.
Tongue-tied, Group Love. I like Group Love. I'm a fan.
Knowing song.
Huh? It's a knowing song?
Song.
It's not its fault. I wouldn't go to it. Yeah, I wouldn't go to it, but they have some bombs.
I wouldn't go to it.
I wouldn't.
I'm sure. I think I've heard other Group Love. The name sounds familiar.
In this show before. I think only within this season even.
Yeah, right? It sounds familiar.
Yeah.
What was the other song they sang?
The one that goes, Time.
Yeah, right?
Yeah,
that was the one. That was in the wedding episode.
Lyric I know.
That's a good song.
Yeah.
You should just use that one again. So,
what kind of dramatic way to start the episode?
Claire and Dan are eating breakfast. They're an old married couple already, and Lily is eating breakfast alone. She's an old single loner already. And then we cut to Rufus in a shot that should have won the show Oscars. He's alone at his breakfast table in the loft, guitar in hand, as he looks toward the sky wistfully. So funny. As he's sitting next to a thing of syrup and a plate full of waffles on the
table. I feel like Rufus is the kind of person that is at a diner or orders a burger. He's like, no syrup? He just needs syrup with that's his only condiment that he uses.
He'd love Buddy the Elf. This director winning a lot of favors with me. We're only 5 seconds into the episode between the drone shot and the Rufus shot. And then Serena's going through Gossip Girl emails. People are responding very well to Lola. They are obsessed with the new It Girl, and Serena is pissed.
Meanwhile, we started last episode. Her whole mission was to get the spotlight off
a
of
new
her.
It Girl.
New It Girl.
And now it happened.
She has it.
What the hell?
One episode later, she has what she wanted.
Yeah, nope. Nate wakes up to his cell phone buzzing. It's Lola. It's after 9, but that is Dawn on the Upper East Side, so that's good to know. And Lola asks Nate if she remembers her calling page
Salon.
6. Yes, a Salon on the Upper East Side. Very good. Yeah. So Lola asked Nate if she remembers her calling page 6 and Perez Hilton trash-filled rags for small-minded individuals. Well, she takes it back, because even she has to admit that the It Girl thing has its perk. So I guess Lola is just the It Girl now, and everyone agrees. That the picture of her really worked wonders.
That's all it took. Just the one thing.
It never stops. It got her an audition with Lars von Trier today.
And she is very pretty. I think now that they've been dressing her up like an Upper East Sider, she's starting to look better. But, I mean, she's just like another blonde girl in the Upper East Side.
Yeah, she is. Are you on a hair watch with her at all?
It's fine. I think it was better than Serena's. Okay. I mean, if we're going to compare It Girls. Serena had another greasy day. Yeah.
Another greasy day in the Vanderwoodson. Nate wants to celebrate, so Lola suggests after her audition, she needs every moment to prepare, which for some reason includes tracking down Serena and getting her advice on what to wear. She's been kind of distant lately, and she wants to know why. And Nate reminds her that just because they're cousins doesn't mean they have to be best friends. My cousin tried to kill me. Joke of the episode, perhaps. This is now going in the pile of past plot points that are so ridiculous that the show just loves nonchalantly referencing, like Blair getting sold for a hotel, and it always works for me.
Yeah, it's good. It's very good.
My cousin tried to murder me. So
I think is he even starting to see some humor in it at this point?
I think he had a smile on his face when he said it. It's a good one. So Blair and Dan have a busy day today. Blair starts to go over it, but Dorota gives Dan his breakfast just the way he likes it. I wonder how Dorota feels about this coupling, because I always pegged Dorota as a chair shipper.
Me too. And then like in this scene, she really seems to be enjoying Dan. Like I guess like he's nice to her. I don't think Chuck was ever mean to her though.
No, I guess she just wants Blair to be happy ultimately, but it
she
is
seems
interesting.
very like over the moon for Dan.
He does, yeah. Blair and Dan are going to be walking down the red carpet tonight. At the end of the rainbow tonight. I guess that's where they're going. It's their first outing as a couple, and Blair's going to get ready. She instructs Dan to go home and shower or just wear some deodorant, as people from Brooklyn are wont to do. Blair really saying that Brooklyn people don't shower, I guess. I have no choice but to believe her.
Well, I agree. But I imagine that Dan like showered this morning, but like normal people on the Upper East Side
shower
go
for the event.
another one. Yeah.
Right before the event, and then maybe another one after. Yeah.
Yeah.
You just throw some deodorant on.
Oh, yeah.
You'd fit in well in Brooklyn.
I would.
You go through. I wasn't going to say this, but you go through sticks of deodorant per day just to avoid showering.
Yeah.
Every time you start to get a little sweaty, the deodorant goes. Like, all over too, not just the pits.
In the face. Yeah.
So
take a bite.
They're going to get cocktails at 7 where the paparazzi are going to capture them. And Dan's like, oh, that's the perfect plan. Blair says, of course it is, because I came up with it. And now they're fully a couple. And now that they are, I still don't see how really either of them are into it. They just don't have that relationship chemistry.
I was just going to say, like, when we were talking about Dorota before, I'm like, I think Dorota likes Dan more than Blair does.
It's like, they don't even say, like, I don't know.
They seem like friends. They're acting like friends.
Right. She's like, it's going to be the perfect plan because I came up with it. Now come. I'm going to kiss you. Like, here we are.
I get that, like, they're dynamic, and like the reason why they like each other is because of like they're push and pull with each other, and like the way that they're able to banter together. But they banter, like, they make fun of each other in a friendly way. Like, there's no sexual tension. They're not getting horny.
No. That kiss did not turn me on at all.
No. And most
kisses
me
off.
do. Yeah.
Most kisses. Every single kiss on this show.
I see like an old couple I go, oh! It's good stuff.
Lola has tracked down Serena, and Serena seems to be in good spirits as she's letting Lola borrow something for the audition. And then Serena points out, it's funny, the only person who seems to not be writing about you these days is Gossip Girl. And
she did this all episode long last episode.
And she's continuing. Serena is a parody of herself. She's gotten so delusional and unlikable that, again, she's coming out the other side. Like, she was so funny this episode, just her comments.
Yeah.
Like, she's making it so obvious that, of course, Lola figures her out.
She wants to find out. She wants someone to find out.
Yeah. Lola isn't bothered at Gossip Girl not writing about her, because why would she be? But Serena's like, really? I mean, she's the crown jewel of the New York Gossip Girl of the New York Gossip blogs. Again, not suspicious at all that Serena is seemingly talking so highly about Gossip Girl now.
And then later on says the opposite. Is just like, Gossip Girl's not really a big deal.
Lola slams Serena without even realizing it by saying that Gossip Girl was a big deal when Serena was in high school, but now she seems kind of irrelevant. And Serena's like, careful what you say.
The look on her face.
She was hurt.
She is.
Careful what you say. She might be able to hear you. And I feel like they should have started playing like crazy person music at that point.
She goes right to the laptop.
And so this is the biggest audition of Lola's life. So the last thing she's worried about is some pathetic loser in a dark room tethered to a computer. And again, it looks like she genuinely hurts Serena's feelings. I'm glad Lola feels this way. One of the only people with logic on this show.
Right.
But Lola offhandedly says that she thinks directors wield a little too much power. So even if she's tough on her today, she's not going to let it get her down. And then Serena replies with something so funny and so delusional, knowing that she's Gossip Girl. She just goes, well, it seems like nothing will make you cry. Even if it should. Poor Serena isn't able to make her cousin cry. I feel so bad for her.
I don't understand her motive anymore. She's just full.
Just like, why doesn't Lola fear me? I have to make her cry.
Like, girl, she doesn't know who you are. She just thinks you're Serena. She doesn't know you're Gossip
Serena's
Girl.
gone insane. She's literally gone insane. She hated, like, if she wasn't Gossip Girl, she'd be saying, yes, Lola, that's exactly how you feel. And now as soon as she becomes, she's like, everyone should fear me. Rufus sees his roomie, Dan. He asks what's with the tie, and Dan's like, oh, it's a Blair thing. I find it best to pick my battles. Something that Rufus can relate to all too well. If Rufus wasn't fighting with Lily right now, they'd both be in their trophy husband eras.
Oh, yeah. And I don't see what's wrong with that, honestly. It's also so funny that Rufus sees a tie and is like, Dan, don't sell
What's
out.
that?
Be careful, man.
Did you shower today? No, Dad. Just deodorant. Okay, good.
Before you know it, Ivy Dickens lives in your house.
So Dan tries to gently convince his dad to go home, but Rufus is like, I am home. And Dan's like, what about your other house, the one with your wife in it? He's confused as to why the king and queen of reconciliation haven't forgiven each other yet. And Rufus doesn't know how things got so out of hand. He's like, it's not that simple this time. He feels as though Lily and he have stopped being honest with each other, and he's not sure that he hasn't been lying this whole time to himself and to her. He explains that when they got married, he threw himself into her world. He became a +1 for galas and all that stuff. And in the process, he forgot about what's important to him. They never managed to build a life that included both of them, and he is sick of it. Obviously, saying all this to Dan, whom they both know what Dan's situation with Blair is right now. You have to assume he sees some parallel there, and he knows what he's doing.
Yeah. I mean, to start, the king and queen of reconciliation is such a backhanded compliment. Like Dan says it as a nice thing, like, but also that means that you had a lot of issues together.
You fight all the time.
Yeah. But say and Rufus saying that, like, oh, you know what? I've just found myself. I happen to be a trophy husband. Like, you seem like you're fucking loving it. You had this whole new friend group. You were like almost fucking this woman from downstairs at some point. You had a lot of friends. You love being a house husband. And it didn't stop you from also reigniting your career and producing some records. Like, you just had a nicer house to live in. So shut up.
Yeah, they should be loving their trophy husband. They should be like eating breakfast together, having like inside jokes about it. Like Rufus just goes, "Trophy husband," and then Dan's like, "Yeah, trophy husband." And it's kind of like high five.
I like that.
That's what should
be. 2 bottles of syrup on the table.
Trophy husband. We could be. We might. We could be the trophy boys, maybe.
Yeah, a little bit. Of
now that Dan's in his trophy era.
Satan in the background.
Satan.
Trophy Satan.
There it is. Okay, we've got a concept here. Even more interestingly, it seems like Rufus and Lily's struggles are going more deep than the initial fight now, because Rufus' problems are now with the entire concept of their relationship. Do you think they can overcome this? It looked like they were overcoming this until the big betrayal by Rufus later in the episode, and they still end kind of on bad terms now. What's going to happen? Do you think they're going to overcome this, or are they heading for Divorce City?
I think it's going to get ugly before it gets better, because this where we land later on, it does become a bigger issue than just like, I can't believe you didn't tell me that you're paying for Ivy in a hotel. It seems like Lily just sees him as like almost like a child in a way, because she's just like, oh, you live here because I like fucking you, but also you're living on my dime, and don't forget that. Like, it's scary. It's very much a power dynamic. So I think that there's a lot of interesting new nuance with that relationship, we'll talk about later.
Yep, it's gonna get worse before it gets better. It gets darkest before the Salon of the dead. Right?
Yeah, hell yeah.
So Rufus knows that Dan is happy with Blair, but tells him not to lose sight of himself. A little less subtle than he was being before. Nick makes it into work. Diana hopes it's because he was having trouble.
Still like
makes it
Blair.
into work.
We're still in the fat lip era,
I was going to say that his hair is still not doing it this week. Nick's it's bad.
And it's not like these actors come right out of bed and walk into work and they have to start acting as soon as they walk in the door. They have like a hair and makake team. So I don't blame him. I don't blame him for like if he's in a low point in his life. That doesn't explain the hair. It doesn't
excuse
anything.
this.
It doesn't.
Although to be fair, I guess he was supposed to have just rolled out of bed and gone into work. So could be intentional.
But it was the same exact hair as last week.
I know it was. Diana hopes it's because he's having trouble in paradise with Lola, and hopes that that's because of her. And Nate actually like chuckles at this, which only eggs her on more. Not trying to stop this at all. Nate explains that Lola's new life is taking up a lot of her time. He's not on good terms with Serena. He hasn't chit-chatted with his bro Dan in forever, and his best friend Chuck is on a mission that will only get him hurt. So, yep, that is all tough, but none of it really explains why Nate was late today. And Diana asks about Chuck's mission, and Nate explains that he's looking for a missing relative, and if you have to look that hard, it's never the answer you want to find. And Diana immediately goes to call Jack. Yeah, well, yeah, you definitely, you really don't have to look that hard. Remember from episode 8 or whatever, these two, Diana and Jack, were in cahoots with each other? Well, I guess we are finally revisiting that.
So as soon as this happens, she goes to call someone, and like, oh, she's calling Jack. And then like she's calling Jack about, as soon as Nate talks about Chuck's mother, like, oh, well, here's her mother. We just did this.
This was obvious to you.
Billy Baldwin. Same exact scenario. They're
That's
telegraphing
true.
you
we
the
just
twist.
we just had this where they were like, "Who's your father? This could be your father. This is your father.
This is your father.
And then now we have, who's your mother? Could it be this woman standing right in front of me who's acting weirdly about this news and calling Jack about it?
Right.
Let's see. And then it
Yep.
turns out, yes, she is. We'll get to the reveal at the end, I guess. Perhaps another underwhelming reveal to you, I guess. But we'll
It
chat.
I mean, I think it was interesting, but not like I was expecting more of like a whoa, no way. But I should,
Right.
But yeah, but the one thing I do want to say
That's Mom.
before the hot mom, Chuck, it's me at the screen.
Every time Nate and Chuck get in a fight, Nate can just be like, "I fucked your mom."
Yeah, forever and ever.
Ever.
And like a lot, like a ton. But before we blow past this, they never got back to Nate and Diana Payne spending time together in the conference room alone, and Lola being upset about it. That was not talked about again. Like we start the episode, and Lola and Nate are like all good. It seemed like that was like almost like a cliffhanger last episode, and it was supposed to be like, oh, Nate and Diana might be cheating.
Yeah, we're on to
Off
bigger
that,
and better
fully
things.
off that.
Yeah, that's true. She did not mention that at all.
No,
Okay, all right. Well,
just
good call.
put it up there. Yeah.
Good catch there. Good catch there. So Diana tells Jack she heard from Nate that Chuck's still on the hunt, and they have to stop him. Otherwise, he's going to find out the truth. So everyone just assumed that Diana's ulterior motive for coming back had to do with like fucking Nate and other young men, but it looks like it has more to do with Chuck. And we already know how Diana fits into all this. Don't have to make any predictions. So.
Yeah.
Anna puts Jack on hold so she can read a text from Gossip Girl. Serena is holding my site hostage. If you don't get it back from me, I'll tell everyone the secret that made you afraid of me in the first place. And now the real Gossip Girl ties into all this as well. So that's intrigue, I guess.
Yeah, it's intrigue, I guess.
I guess.
I guess.
It's
I mean,
intrigue,
it's still like a secret we don't find out by the end. Still, I didn't even really put it together.
Yes, because we think
that it
this
could
is
have
the
been the mom
secret.
thing. Yeah.
Well, yeah, I think that's what you're supposed to think. And then in the end, it's like, not that secret.
Yeah, I for
like,
some
what?
reason wasn't thinking that. So when they said not that secret, I was like, oh, all right, good. They're nice.
So the big reveal wasn't even like you didn't even know that there was another secret
I was
to be
so
had.
underwhelmed by the mother secret that I just threw it out the window.
So Lola goes to audition, and right away she finds out her audition's been canceled. She doesn't understand, but maybe this Gossip Girl blast will help clarify. It says, Lola is a diva. Wannabe actress Lola Rhodes was overheard bragging. Everyone knows the star's the thing. Real actors don't take direction. Some are just better at pretending they do. And I was legitimately stunned by this because, first of all, I cannot believe that Serena posted that lie, or at the very least a gross embellishment of what Lola said.
Yeah.
As Gossip Girl, to get her cousin's audition canceled. Family Girl Serena. It is incredible how pathetic Serena is as Gossip Girl now.
This is like the lowest low. And this is also like not something that Gossip Girl is supposed to be doing either. This is a straight up lie that you made. You made a lie, you put quotes around it and threw it up there as if it was fact.
It's crazy. And then secondly, I can't believe that this director is so thin-skinned that he read the Gossip Girl blast and was like, cancel the audition.
Yeah.
I won't have this.
This is becoming like Trump era Fox News type slander.
Yeah. Yes. Serena has turned into Trump.
Quote it. Put it on a t-shirt.
I'll never forget one time. I can't remember what the Trump tweet was, but it was something that was so absurd. And Savannah Coffey, Lindenhurst legend, replied to it and said, "Is this Blair Waldorf?" And it was very funny.
Really?
Very funny. It's something that you could see Blair saying.
Uh-huh.
So the lady tells Lola to go. Serena has effectively ruined her cousin's career because she says that fucking Gossip Girl is irrelevant now.
My God. And this it girl who is the most privileged person in the entire world just ruins this working class actor's
Yes,
career.
it's great because Lola's not a successful actress. She needs these auditions. It's crazy.
Yeah.
And then we cut to Serena eating snacks in her bed while she reads the Gossip Girl comments. Even the comment section is saying that she was way harsh about Lola, but Serena is leaning into her villain era, and I love to see it.
It's definitely more interesting than stuff Serena's been doing. It's almost like we think so lowly of Serena that when she like kind of steps into her normal role, you're like, oh my God. It's annoying when she's doing the same shit over and over again, but this is like a new level, so it is now interesting.
Yes, we've reached a new level of Serena.
Yeah.
So Lily comes by the loft to see Rufus. She's made too much salad, but as soon as Rufus gives her a look, she's like, okay, well, I had it delivered, but it's enough for two.
I would believe that she
And
made that because it didn't look like there's anything going on besides just leaves. It looked like pure leaves. There's nothing
Pure
else
leaves.
inside there.
just different types of lettuce. And so Lily happened to find herself in the neighborhood, thought Rufus might want some leftovers, but then she admits that, yes, she did order a car here. And Rufus wants her to admit that she wanted to see him, and she begrudgingly admits to missing him. She loves being back on the Upper East Side, but it's not the same without Rufus. He's the only comfort she needs, and the apartment doesn't seem like home without him in it. So she's had some time to think. I know. She's been by herself. She had an idea. She wants to sell the apartment, and they can find their own place, one that fits them both.
Which is sweet. But
A compromise.
you got to look at that runtime and say this, they're not going to resolve this shit in Act 1.
No. And Rufus is like, yeah, that's a great idea. Can Ivy live with us? I mean, forget I said that.
Can I live with you?
Can Ivy? Yeah. So Rufus seems happy. She likes the apartment a lot, but she loves Rufus. She wants them to work. Good way to win Rufus back. But like you said, the runtime, your teeth must have been chattering. You're like, there's no way.
Yeah.
Something has to happen.
I think someone left the window open when I was watching.
Well, that explains it. So Serena's on the phone with Lola. She asks Lola if she was a hit while evilly smiling to herself and twirling her villain mustache.
I can see that's it. She loves to. She doesn't leave a calling card, but she wants to. Almost.
Yeah,
It's so funny.
You mean Serena? And then she
I think the checking up afterwards is more pathetic than doing what she did.
if something bad happens to you and you get a call from Serena directly afterwards, you gotta
How'd it
assume
go?
how'd everything go? Lola explains that a Gossip Girl blast got her audition canceled before she could even read. She's confused because Gossip Girl is radio silent and then decides to go after her on the most important day of her life. And Serena's like, yeah, I don't know, man. Gossip Girl works in mysterious ways.
I only talked about this specific thing that was Gossip Girled about to you 10 minutes ago.
Yes. And the thing is, there's no bit of regret at all from Serena. She knows that she just lost the audition, and Serena is not like, oh, I feel kind of bad. She's like, yeah,
mission
Gossip Girl
accomplished.
works in mysterious ways. And then for good measure, she throws in, I guess Gossip Girl isn't so irrelevant after all, huh?
Until later when I talk about it again.
He's like, oh my god, she's getting sloppy. Of course, her ego won't just let her get away with this. I was at this point, I'm like, I can't wait for Lola to start putting these pieces together. But she immediately knows it's Serena. It's the most obvious thing in the world.
You want to think something more traumatic happened to this girl, but more recently she just had a blog and got fired from it from doing a bad job, and now she's at the lowest point in her life. That's
her Joker origin story. That's enough to do. That's enough to do it for her. They should have had a scene where she dances down those steps like Joker did.
Absolutely. Or where she slams some guy's head on a pencil. Either movie.
Yes. So Lola pauses and asks Serena if she mentioned anything about their conversation, but Serena's like, no, I didn't say a word. And Lola looks skeptical, but her plan is just to act like she's not mortified and get on with her life. And she ends the conversation, but she is definitely suspicious here.
Yeah, if you're a normal person, you have to be.
Yes, which Lola is.
Yeah.
Serena has just made it so obvious. So Diana lets herself into Serena's place. Once again, the doormen are asleep, and Diana immediately calls out how exciting it is to meet Gossip Girl in the flesh. Serena doesn't even deny it. They just stare at each other.
She's like, I guess she kind of carries such a weight in this world that if Diana Payne's talking about this to you, you're probably like, you know something. You're in the journalism world, so you know things.
When Diana Payne, throws her dick around, things are going to happen.
Oh, yeah.
She's got that BDE.
Oh, yeah.
Big Diana energy.
That's good.
There were crickets for a second there.
It's good.
Thank you. Just came to me. I don't know. I don't know. So,
I was going to say,
Dana Blair go to lunch.
She's throwing on that big cockney. Pretty good.
Now that's good. No crickets on that one. So, Dan and Blair go to lunch. He wants to bring Blair next door to the tree planting ceremony so that his friend Alexis, who we've never heard of, can take a picture of them going green. And Blair immediately says no to this. Blair references a tree grows in Brooklyn for seemingly the 100th time on the show, and then tells Dan, "I'm not going green. I'm going home." She's not even gonna have lunch now. She's like, that was so off-putting to her that she's just gonna leave lunch.
And this is the scene where you see this is a friendship. The fact that she can't sit and eat lunch with you in a trendy place in Brooklyn. It's like, how is this ever going to work?
Yeah. Blair says they can't be photographed because they're coming out tonight at the theater, and Dan's like, we can just come out twice, best of both worlds. And Blair says they only have one chance to make a first impression. She's not doing it knee deep in fertilizer, looking like Vanessa. What's her name? I do think Blair actually has a point. Like they had these plans to come out at the event tonight, so I wouldn't want to switch things up last minute either. They can plant trees like any other time.
Yeah, except
also,
like, these plans are shoehorned in because of what Rufus said to Dan. That's the only reason why he's even doing this.
Yeah, and I also appreciate some Vanessa shade.
Yeah, when she said Vanessa, what's her name? I'm like, I hope you're talking about the one the one I'm thinking of. Is like, she's talking
assuming
about
she
her
is
because she's also like a Brooklynite.
Yeah, unless we have some kind of Vanessa what's her name cameo later in the episode. Oh my God, it's Vanessa what's her name, the biggest tree planter in all of Dan is not trying to be difficult, but he doesn't want to melt into Blair's life, so they need some balance. Blair wants to be her, but Dan wants to be him. Again, I knew this relationship wouldn't work. You know, just like Serena, I was twirling my evil mustache. I was like, yes, fight.
Finally.
Fight. And I called Dan. I was like, how'd your lunch with Blair go today? So a couple behind them overhears their argument and decides to enter the conversation because they've had the same argument millions of times. The guy explains he's a diehard Upper East Sider, and the girl is as queens as acrylic nails. So they know a few things about settling differences. I did not recognize them, but Blair recognizes them immediately. It's, of course, who could forget, Julian Tepper and Jenna Gribben.
Well, for me, as soon as you see actors that are worse than Chase Crawford, it's cameo. It's a cameo.
You can clock the cameo from a mile away.
Immediately.
I guess we were supposed to also recognize them, but another classic Gossip Girl cameo, because once again, I did not recognize them.
And sometimes I'm waiting for me to be the idiot that doesn't know, because it's not the demographic for me. Like an adult male in 2024 watching the show, sure. Maybe I'm not going to get all the cameos, but I'm like over like all of them. I've maybe like I've clocked the ones that are like multi-episode arcs because they're more famous than. I'm just not a fashion guy. I guess is a big part of it because most of them are fashion. So I can give that an excuse, but I don't know who the hell these people are supposed to be.
These guys seem to be just famous for like one being on the Upper East Side and one being from Queens. Like I don't know. I don't really know.
But who is going to like? Who knows that? Like that's got to be such a niche reference for even people that were regular watchers when it was airing. Let's see
who these people are. Some live Googling.
Did they write this plot so that they can shoehorn these people into this episode? Like,
it is certainly possible. I don't know how the booking of these cameos go. Julian Tepper is an American writer and musician. His novels include Balls, sounds interesting, Arc, and Between the Records. He co-founded the Oracle Club, or literary salon in New York City. That was the big thing. Open from 2011 to 2017. And also a member of the indie rock band The Natural History. So that's Julian Tepper. Let's see what
seems like a very local celebrity, if anything.
Yeah. Let's see who's the other. Who did I just say? Jenna Gribben. All right. Let's see. She founded the Oracle Club with him. She is an artist living and working in Brooklyn, New York. She is best known for her figurative paintings, whose primary subject is her partner Mackenzie Scott.
So this really is for rich New Yorkers that are watching this TV show.
Yeah, essentially, I guess.
Seems like a very small population of who was watching the show.
It was a members-only literary salon and workspace for artists and writers in Long Island City, Queens, which closed in 2017.
Okay. Yeah, I wasn't sure if I was getting irrationally mad at another cameo that felt out of place and useless and boring, and just I just don't like when they would, especially when they give you cameos and it's not just like a one-line like funny thing.
Right.
If they're gonna give them
part of the plot,
they're part of the plot. They're like, can we stop with this?
Apparently, they're the Brangelina of the Five Boroughs.
Apparently, yeah. I was hoping it was gonna be just like a quick run-in, like, hey, I recognize you guys, and then they leave. That's fine. I'm fine with that.
They're gonna have lunch with them. Blair all of a sudden has time for lunch now.
Which
the socialites are here.
I guess I was ready for them to break up in that cafe right then, right there, and somehow this buys them more time.
So Nate and Lola are smooching at work. Nate says he's sorry about Lola's audition, and Lola replies by asking if he's ever wondered who Gossip Girl actually is. And it's like, yeah, of course, but she keeps her identity pretty hidden. But Lola has a theory. She's known about Gossip Girl for a couple of weeks, and she's already cracked the code. It really shows how terrible Serena is that she gets pretty much figured out. Like, you get why other people aren't suspecting her, because they know that it hasn't been her from the beginning. It just couldn't have been.
Right.
But for someone on the outside to come in who doesn't already know that it can't be Serena to just come in and immediately clock that it is Serena.
And it's also been targeting her specifically the whole time that she's been aware of it.
Yes. So Lola says her theory is Serena, and Nate goes, Serena, what?
Are we just saying names? Chuck.
Oh, are we playing Concentration 64? Okay. I'll go first, you go second. Category is names. Serena. Damn it, you said that one already. Speaking of Serena, Diana's telling her there's no use denying it. She knows that the real Gossip Girl has been badgering her to return her sight, and she's prepared to go to great lengths to get what she wants. But Diana actually wants to help Serena stay on Gossip Girl and continue to hide her identity. So the old switcheroo here, what's good for the goose is good for the gander.
Famously hate geese. I hate geese.
Famously love geese. They can do all three.
They can do all three. The fly, swim, and walk.
That's right. Yeah, I'm surprised that's not what breaks up Blair and Dan. An argument over geese.
That would be a very funny, entertaining way to break up.
They cut back to the lunch, and Blair's like, "And I say that I don't care that the geese can do all three." And then Julian and Jen are just like, "Okay, we're gonna get the check." Actually. Back to Nate and Lola. Nate thinks Lola's theory is ludicrous because Serena has hated Gossip Girl since they were freshmen in high school, which is exactly why this heel turn is so maddening from her.
Yeah.
And then Nate tells Lola, just read all the negative posts about Serena. And Lola's like, well, of course she has to, slam Serena sometimes. It'd be pretty obvious if she didn't.
I'm like, well, she hasn't been if you've been reading it.
Yeah, exactly. And so Serena, they're intercutting this with the Serena and Diana scene. Serena questions why Diana would want to help her, and Diana reminds Serena that she also has a history with Gossip Girl. And Serena's like, that means you have something to hide. And Diana's like, yes, I'm a woman who's lived, so I have plenty to hide. Good point from Diana.
I think Serena's waiting for the blackmail here, but I guess they can both help each other.
Yeah, she's really pushing this alliance here.
Yeah.
So Nate goes, Lola, I know you're an actress and there's a certain amount of quirkiness I'm supposed to find charming, but this is too much. It's like, Lola's not even being quirky. She's just being correct.
Yeah, and even if you don't believe her, she's not making like a crazy statement. Like, Serena has lived here her whole life.
She didn't come in here like wearing a propeller hat on a scooter and blowing bubbles. She's not like, she's not being quirky.
Oh, there's my actor girlfriend.
Nate tells Lola to stop letting her imagination run wild. Diana has a lot of influence in media, so she proposes to Serena that she'll make sure Serena's Gossip Girl is the most popular website in the town. And now Serena is seeing, not dollar signs, I guess, but she's seeing like vanity signs. She needs the attention.
Yeah, she does. I'm starting to think about a reason why Nate absolutely would not believe that this is Serena. I'm like, I guess because he knows her writing is so bad. And I guess the stuff that she's been putting out is just absolute gold. So he's like, that couldn't be Serena.
I feel like it's only a matter of time before Serena can't help but expose her true identity. As soon as she's not getting enough attention, she's like, I'm Gossip Girl. Lola apologizes for canceling, so Nate asks she's going to spend the whole day wasting her time with conspiracy theories and that this needs to stop. If Nate wasn't so dumb, I would assume Nate is in on this because of how adamantly he shuts this down. Although, to be fair, Lola should give him more evidence. It's not like she doesn't have anything. She doesn't give him anything. She just says, my theory is it's Serena, and doesn't say, like, I had this conversation with Serena, and only with Serena. Then all of a sudden, Gossip Girl made a blast about it and got my audition canceled. Also, here's some of the things that Serena's been saying. It's really weird that she's saying all this.
Right. As an audience member, you're just, like, frustrated because you saw all this unfold. You're like, just tell them what we saw. Just tell him.
And she's not.
Yeah, right.
He's like, you're just going to have to trust me, Nate. It's like, you're not giving him anything.
And then she goes the other direction and tries to prove it, like, in person, and it just gets messy.
Yes. She already has, like, ammo that she could be using. It's so frustrating.
Yeah.
Serena's going to think about it. Diana tells her not to think too long. Lola tells Nate that Serena is Gossip Girl and she's going to prove it. And then Diana tells Serena to give her the answer at the Spectator and hits her with a happy blogging. So that's how that duel scene wraps up there. And we go back to the double date at lunch. The all-star couple has really given Dan and Blair hope that they can make this relationship work. They're telling all about their social lives, how once a month they host a salon where there's intellectual discussion, and not to brag, but people fight for the invites. Blair and Dan don't, though, because they invite Blair and Dan to the next one. Although it might have been canceled after this disastrous salon.
For sure. Did you know what a salon was in this scenario?
No, I thought they were going to get their hair done.
Yeah, me too.
I thought that's why Nate's hair was so bad. They were going to make it a plot point.
He is the true Salon of the Dead.
Nate's the titular Salon of the Dead. Nate's got to go to the salon. No, I didn't know the salon also had a meaning as a little fancy soiree.
Yeah. You just say soiree.
Have you been to many salons?
Almost none. I've held a couple of soirees, as you know, in my day. But they, I don't think they were up to the snuffs of the Upper East Side. They were literally in a backyard, like around a ping pong table.
So, Julian and Jenna have to go, but they say it was very nice meeting Dan and Blair. A very fortuitous lunch for the two of them. And on their way out, we get the weirdest little like aside from Jenna and Julian. They stop leaving, and Jenna just goes, "I thought they were cute." And Julian's like, "I wonder if it'll last." As they're like awkwardly appearing back at the table, like what the hell was that about?
They felt the need to keep giving them lines, and every time they did, it was one of these scenes. I'm like, stop making them talk. It's really bad.
Yes. So Dan and Blair get the idea to host a salon themselves. It's the perfect combination of Dan and Blair. So they're going to skip the garden and the party. They're going to host a salon as they're coming out, and Blair is so excited to plan.
I mean, at least this idea does kind of scream Dan and Blair, because it is the most pretentious thing you could ever imagine.
Yes, it's so fucking pretentious.
Yeah.
Oh my god. Serena visits Nate at work, asks where Diana is, and Nate just asks, "Are we still in a fight?" Probably because he like genuinely can't remember. And Serena's
all right, I fired you. That's funny.
Serena's like, "Well, you did fire me, but it actually turned out for the best." So Serena's now like saying that her being gospel is the best thing that could have happened to her. I guess, yeah.
Very lucrative. So, you're not getting paid shit. Pay doesn't matter.
Nate and Serena agree to put everything behind them, so that's just settled, I guess. All right. Serena asks what's new, and Nate's like, "Yeah, I have my hands full with your cousin. Ever since she hit the it girl radar, she's got these. She's lost it. She's all worked up. She's got these theories about who Gossip Girl is." And Serena's like, "What does she think it is?" And Nate's like, "You actually." And I'm like, "God, you really can't trust Nate. You can't tell Nate anything."
It's so funny. Anytime he's given information, it's coming right out the next scene.
Why did he get like this? Like, his thing hasn't always been like, can't tell Nate anything. And it's not even like, that's not even the scouting report on it. Like, people aren't saying like, I can't tell Nate because he'll tell everyone. It's just like, people tell Nate things and he tells everyone.
It's become like their lazy writing device. Just like, this is how people are going to find things out, is through Nate all the time.
Yes. He has nothing else to do except just drive the plot forward by telling everyone everything. So Serena laughs it off, and she's like, "That's insane." And Nate agrees with her, and says that Lola's just upset about her audition. Like, in this moment, I don't fault Nate for not realizing that Serena is lying, because he doesn't think the person who is his lifelong friend is like also a sociopath, which is what Serena has to be.
Again, he has no evidence of this, so he's like, of course, like,
Serena's my friend. It would be absolutely insane for her to sabotage her cousin's audition for no reason. Right. So of course she's not Gossip Girl.
And everyone else that's been in this world for a while thinks it's been the same person the entire time that they've known it.
Yes, exactly. That's working to her benefit as well. And then Serena's like, "I hope this doesn't change Lola, because she was such a sweet girl." And she goes to find Diana, but Diana's randomly having a phone conversation with Jack right behind the wall. So Serena naturally takes a step back so she can eavesdrop, and Diana's just like, "Good news."
Dialogue.
"Good news, Jack. I'm about to make a deal with Serena, and as long as she—" You like my British accent?
That's pretty good.
"And as long as she controls the Gossip Girl site, no one will ever find out what I did for Chuck at the hospital." Like,
you didn't need to say that last part at all.
You didn't just say all of that.
All of that, I guess. Yeah.
It's a huge round sentence. Jack's probably like, all right, don't say too much. Don't say, fuck. You know someone's behind the wall, Diana.
You gotta know. Even just say it starting with like, "Hey, Jack." It's crazy.
Yeah. "Hey, Jack, the person that I'm talking to."
Yeah, Jack Bass.
"I'm about to make a deal with Serena, the person who I hope isn't listening in." So, I was going to ask you, like, what did you think Diana did for Chuck? But you seem to already know that she was... Did you put together that she was the one that gave Chuck her blood?
Yeah, once I figured mother status, I'm like, well, that's who gave him the blood.
She's draining that blood for Chuck every chance she can get.
Draining that main vein for her son.
Normally, I'd be like, what are the odds that Serena's just in the right place at the right time to hear that? But I think the question here is, what the hell is Diana doing having the most top secret conversation of her life just in the middle of the office?
Right. Yeah, like, put aside like what she said.
I said to her, "I'm related to Chuck." No one knows. So I says to her, "Jack, I said, get this." Blair and Dan are planning their salon. And this is, like you said, the combination of Dan and Blair. It seems like something that is much more Blair in this moment, because she's like going through all this planning, and it's like, I get that Dan wants to talk about pretentious things, but in the planning of it, it's just like Dan's just like, "All right, yeah, you do all this, and I'll get the ice."
Yeah. Very much like Luke Danes in that ice. Oh, everyone loves the ice scene with Luke. But we don't get one of those from Dan. But I do get, like, this does make sense, yin and yang of a party where Blair's the planner and Dan gets to talk about his books.
Right.
So in that sense, it makes sense.
Right. They're trying to come up with the theme. They both love Radiohead. I did not take Blair for a Radiohead head, and
Yeah.
this is
But both
disappointing.
pretentious people. That's a pretentious
Yeah,
band.
yes, very pretentious.
Pretentious people
I
love
guess,
Radiohead.
yeah. The friend that I had in college that was a huge Radiohead fan, very pretentious. For me, this is disappointing for me for both of them. I guess
Yeah.
I will keep my Radiohead opinions to myself because people get mad when I talk about how I don't like them. But
Yeah. Well, here you are doing
was
it now.
hoping for better.
I agree with you.
I will say no more. You agree? Okay, good.
Yeah,
good, good.
yeah.
So they settle on the theme of London Calling, an ode to the Brits, and they go over the guest list. The first name Dan suggests is Serena, and Blair replies, I really want tonight to be successful, which she should have just ended there because I thought it was a great read until she was like, if she's there, we'll both be on edge. And then Dan suggests Nate, and this time Blair really does read him to filth. She's like, Nate at a salon? I'm not even going to dignify that with a response.
It is so funny that they try and have this like fun little club, and then one by one, like their entire friend group starts filing in.
Yes, that was funny. They all just
I was waiting
come
for Rufus
anyway.
to show up too.
Who eats waffles? So Dan suggests some new people, like their new couple friends. Blair approves and then suggests Diana Payne, which seems nonsensical, but then Blair's like, she's British and she's press, which still a wild move inviting Diana Payne and not Nate, because like Blair's like, if Diana writes about tonight, then our salon will be the hottest destination in New York, which it would be so much easier to just get their good friend Nate, who is the editor of the paper, to write about it, but okay.
Yeah, I guess the only tie-in is that it's like
Just
a
Nate
British
talking
thing.
a British accent.
Yeah.
Oi!
I'm sure he's got a great one.
Oi, I'm Nate!
That's all he's
There
got.
was a salon going on here. That's good. My dad's been acting pretty weird.
Crikey, is that a gator? It's like, Nate.
Hey, British, not Australian. No, that would have been. I would have given this episode an A. If Nate was
Easy A.
in Steve Irwin cosplay.
You know, he's got Steve Irwin hair. That's what I was trying to. I was trying to pinpoint it. It's
That's
Steve Irwin hair.
It's all starting to make sense. I have a conspiracy theory of my own. See, the crocodile hunter didn't die. He just moved to the Upper East Side and got younger and turned into Nate.
That's it. Simple as that.
That's why he's always dating older women, because he's
Yes,
actually
he's
that
actually
old.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
It's the reverse. It's the reverse big.
It's the reverse big. Small, some would call
Small.
it.
But not that small. It's called small, but not that small.
Small, but not that small, but still big where it counts, if you know what I'm saying. starring Nate Archibald.
Yeah, it's all true.
So, look, see, this is the kind of madness you couldn't get with a guest on the pod. Lola asked Dorota if she's seen Serena, and Miss Serena's been hiding in her room all day like blonde Unabomber.
That's a great
nailed it
line.
on that one.
Great line.
Yeah. So Lola overhears Blair and Dan planning. Blair thinks the best part tonight, no Gossip Girl. I don't know how Blair would be so sure that Gossip Girl wouldn't be there, because she does end up being there.
Mm-hmm.
And then Lola slowly approaches them as Blair suggests that Dan announce his second book at the Salon. Blair wants him to reclaim his title as the most important young writer in New York City. And then after hearing this, Lola retreats for some reason. And Blair and Dan didn't even notice her somehow. She just like walks up to the room, hears this, then walks back, then finds Dorota's phone, I guess, which was just left there, and sends Gossip Girl a tip saying it's from Dorota, saying, lonely boy to read excerpt from Inside Sequel at Salon tonight. Who will he slay this time? Not exactly sure what Lola's plan was here, especially because, I thought that the tip says it's from Dorota. I thought this was going to get traced back to her, because they were going to be like, well, who sent in the tip? It's Dorota. Dorota's going to be like, it wasn't me, but
from her own phone.
Lola was here. Yeah.
I know, because I guess because she knows Serena's Gossip Girl, so if she sent it in as Lola, then Serena would understand her agenda.
Right. So she sends it from Dorota.
It doesn't have to be anyone else besides her.
Dorota would be the one who was able to overhear it, but yeah.
Right.
So to send the tip into, I guess, the first part of the plan, send the tip in to get Serena to crash the party, I guess.
Right.
And then
She wants to
I guess
story.
it's just like, then it just somehow expose her at the party. She hasn't thought that far ahead, I guess.
Right. I guess because then if she hears, whoever is Gossip Girl would blast about Dan's announcement, and then that would prove that Gossip Girl's in the room, I guess, and then she could be like, see?
Although Nate is able to poke holes in this plan very easily when she presents it to him. And then also Dan and Blair are throwing this party tonight. Like, how is anything getting done. How is anyone coming to this on such short notice? Is this how salons usually work? It's just like, I don't know if it's the salon tonight.
I don't know.
One
I guess
come off.
with rich people, if you have plans, if better ones come up, you drop
Just
them.
cancel.
Yeah.
I guess. Yeah. Vanya helps Lillian with Lily with her bags into the penthouse. He's so pumped that Rufus is coming back because he hasn't heard any sick guitar riffs through the walls, lately, which made me laugh. It's cute that Vanya genuinely likes Rufus's guitar playing.
It is nice. He's gonna be like I said, he's not moving in anymore again. But I wonder
poor
if he's
Vanya, though,
excited
yeah.
to hear the new song he was ripping with the syrup this morning.
Yeah. So, Lily answers the phone, but it's for Rufus. It's the front desk at the Soho Grand calling to verify his credit card information. And Lily's like, oh, no trouble at all. I'll just verify it. What's the payment for? And it is for the stay of a hotel guest, Ivy Dickens. And Lily's face just drops. She tells the man she can absolutely not verify that card, certainly not to pay for Ivy Dickens. And the guy's just like, okay, thank you for your time. Mm-hmm. This front desk guy definitely thinks he just like exposed an affair.
Yeah. Oh, when Rufus does come in, he's like, you got me. I've been fucking Ivy. That's it. Simple as that.
Did you think Rufus and Ivy were fucking?
No, at first I thought legitimately that Ivy had just stolen Rufus's credit card.
That's how Rufus should have tried to play. She got me too. She's stealing from me now.
Yeah. I think
This has no bounds.
Rufus got to be honest. Fucking loser.
Serena is in the hospital. She hunts down the nurse who she thinks was working the night that Chuck Bass was brought into the hospital. If I was a nurse at a hospital and someone came, were you here the night that Chuck Bass? I would think that she is a crazy person.
Yeah.
But apparently she remembers that night well. And then Serena shows her a picture of Diana and asks if she recognized her. And she does. It turns out she arrived to the hospital the night of the accident, donated blood, and left quickly before Mr. Bass regained consciousness. Is the nurse allowed to be telling Serena all of this?
No, we had a scene with this exact nurse, and she says, like, I can't tell you that information.
I can't tell you that information.
And the way she answers Serena in this scene, she's like, acts like people come up to her and ask her questions like that all the time. She's like, got them ready. She's like, oh, of course. No, I'm not a problem. I'll help you out.
Yeah, what a memory she has. That this to her own story that Diana wasn't there quickly. She just came and left. She sees it one picture of her and she's like, yes, I'd recognize that lady anywhere. Let me just tell you exactly what happened.
Yeah.
Who Chuck got his blood from?
His mom, Diana Payne, of course.
Yeah, cut to Serena immediately calling Diana Payne, and she asks where she might find her. She gets a secretary. She asks where she might find Diana because she's the lead on a story for her. The girl tells her that she'll be attending a salon at Daniel Humphreys this evening, and she's like, "It's located at," but Serena's like, "Yeah, okay, got it," which is funny. But what a slap in the face to find out that way that you were not invited to a Dan Humphreys salon.
Yeah, would make her stoop even lower and become more Joker-esque.
Yeah. I'm surprised the Gossip Girl Blast didn't come out like, Dan Humphrey fucking sucks. She just has to act out somehow.
Yeah.
Lola is on the phone with Nate. She tells him that she has proof that Serena's Gossip Girl, and Nate agrees to humor her, but only if the proof comes up short, she'll drop this once and for all. So he's going to come tonight. He asks Chuck if he's interested in taking a field trip to the 718, and Chuck doesn't ask any questions. He's down. He's like, haven't been slumming in a while. Haven't slummed it in a while, so I guess I'll come to the 718 with you. Let me just get my deodorant on.
We're going to slum, not taking a shower. Deodorant only.
Exactly.
This is his first appearance in this episode. I was like, whoa, where the hell has he been?
We're like halfway through the episode.
Yeah.
Wow. Light week for Chuck.
Well,
he's going to have a big
he had a big
second
half, yeah.
Maybe it's so that we weren't thinking about Chuck, so this reveal would be a surprise. You still clocked it.
Yeah, I guess. Good strategy.
Very underwhelmed.
Who's like a baseball player that has famously does a shit job in the first half, great job in the second half?
Ike Davis.
Ike Davis?
Yeah, Mark Teixeira a little bit when he was.
Okay, all right.
He always came out to a slow start.
Yeah, that's the warm months.
Yeah, my references are pretty old. I don't.
Okay.
Let's get to the event of the week. Dan and Blair's stupid salon. It turns out their new couple friends are in fact in attendance. I guess they're not pissed that they stole their idea. Like they just mentioned the salon in lunch with them, and then Blair and Dan are ripping them off.
In the salon world, the more salons, the better.
Yeah, I guess so. So Blair makes a toast, points out the theme. Dan joins to discuss the menu, and then as each new dish is served, a new topic will be discussed. Ooh. The most pretentious thing I've ever seen in my fucking life. Ring, 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 a new dish. Now we will discuss the British invasion. I don't know. That was the first thing that came to my...
It was like when I went, the first time I ever went to the Cinema Arts Center in Huntington, me and Gina went to go see, I forget what the name of the movie was, but it was where Willem Dafoe was playing Vincent Van Gogh, whatever that movie was.
Rhymes.
Yeah, that's probably why they
It's actually
casted him. Honestly,
It's Vincent Van Gogh.
Yeah. So I watched the movie and then I get up and the lights come on and then there's people at the front of the theater, like ready to start talking to us. And like, all right, this discussion is going to begin in a couple minutes. And I looked at Gina and I was like, what's going on? She's like, I forgot to tell you about this part. I was like, I'm leaving. I was like, I don't care what your plans were. We're getting out of here right now.
Did she leave with you, or?
Yeah, she came with me. I was like, I'm not doing this. Okay. Like, you can't.
That
you
is
can't,
so funny.
You can't do this to me. Even meanwhile, that's kind of what we're doing on the show right now. Is like breaking down.
Yeah.
An episode of TV.
And not to mention that same episode of How I Met Your Mother, but Willem Dafoe. Willem Dafoe. Right?
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm a little hungry.
It comes out. The truth comes out. I should have known. Or you're just blaming any kookiness. You just blame on hunger.
Yeah, that's what it is. Yeah. No, I was hungry going into this, but I didn't have time to eat before because I had to rewatch the episode. You know, my duty comes first.
Man. He's a workhorse.
Serena arrives, makes a very funny grand entrance. She's like, here, sorry I'm late. And Serena's like weirdly transforming into the very, very poor man's Georgina. Just like she knows that they don't want her here. And she's just like coming anyway, crashing the party, leaning into the villain role. And Blair asks what she's doing here. And Serena tells them that in the madness of planning the soiree, they must have forgotten to invite her. But that's okay. She'll just make herself at home.
Yeah. That's not what she's here for. She's got other fish to fry.
Yes. And then Lola comes in, and Jenna of Jenna and Julian couple fame announces that she's wearing the Lola. And Serena's pissed that Lola got invited over her, even though she also didn't get
that. That was also a crazy, quick little scene. Like, I'm wearing the Lola. I was like,
yeah, we're referencing that. Like, that was last episode. Who cares? Like, I'm wearing the Lola.
She came on real hot.
Lola doesn't even notice her.
The what?
And so Blair pulls down on the other side of the room. She's like, how can I keep calm and carry on with those two here? Serena's going to spend the whole night judging us. Lola's probably trying to squeeze every last drop of free press out of the night. And Dan's not freaking out. He's like, we can handle some party crashers. It's, you know what? Let's be flattered that they came all the way to Brooklyn just to check this out. And they're even wearing deodorant. Dan's still confident the party's going to be great. Maybe he shouldn't be.
Because he's so laid back and cool. He's got that Brooklyn vibe.
Yeah, he's going to start making some waffles, some British waffles.
Yeah, British waffles.
I just can't stop laughing at the thought of just Nate showing up dressed as the crocodile hunter for some reason and just never breaking character. Just every time they're discussing a new topic, he's like when I hunted that crocodile. And everyone's just like, Nate, what are you doing?
Because it's funny and random. But also, when I picture it, it's not random at all. It really is a perfect 1-to-1 of Steve Irwin to Nate. Same guy.
He brings like a fake crocodile with him. He's like, I really want to
it's gonna get me.
The theme's British. What do you mean Steve Irwin's not British? What do you mean Australia and the UK are different?
All right, well, the British, at least, they eat alligator, right?
Right? Sure, I can do this. I'll just eat them. So Lola's trying to catch Serena in her lie of being Gossip Girl. She asked if Gossip Girl was the one who first broke the news about Inside, and Serena's playing it cool, which is easy to do for Serena because she knows that Lola's already suspects her, so she is able to play this cool. And Lola then suspiciously asks if Gossip Girl will be the first to post about the Inside sequel, or if one of the many other media types here will beat her to the punch. And Serena's like, Gossip Girl doesn't need to travel to get her news; she has sources everywhere. And Lola's like, yeah, but they wouldn't be at a party like this again. Gossip Girl sources are everywhere. I don't know why people are always saying this, but
yeah.
Lola subtly states that Gossip Girl probably has to post about the book to stay relevant, but Serena is not taking the bait. This was the proof that Lola was so confident about, trying to get Serena in a gotcha.
I guess.
And then she just runs to Nate and says, Serena said this, but Serena's already said damning things. I don't know. None of this makes sense.
Yeah, well, when we get to the moment later where her and Serena become friends again, I'm like, what were you going to say to Nate that would have changed his mind? You still haven't given him any information. It's
crazy. So Serena turns this around on Lola and tells her, I'm sure Gossip Girl is fascinating to a newcomer like you, but to me, she's just not. Which, what a gaslight. She really turned the tables on her there. Yeah. Serena's obsessed with Gossip Girl. Yeah.
I was cringing for Lola in this conversation.
It's like, yeah, I get that you're obsessed with her.
It's like, oh, let's go.
Oh, my God. So Nate and Chuck arrive. Got to get everyone to the event of the week. And Blair asks what they're doing here. And Chuck has no idea. He's like, yeah, what? Chuck's like, what are we doing here? Which Chuck didn't ask what they were doing the whole trip over. How did it not come up?
He just wanted to do anything. He didn't care. It's like, take me wherever
He
I
didn't
gotta
notice they were. Didn't notice they were in Dan's loft until they were inside of it. He's like, what are we
in the kitchen.
What's going on here? I was not paying attention to where we were. Why are you dressed as Steve Irwin?
Chuck walks in a gator costume.
Nate and Nathaniel, you told me this was a costume party. I thought it was. It's stupid. Nate responds that Lola invited them, which is very funny because Lola was not invited. And Blair's like, how are you inviting people to my salon? And it's like, yeah, you should explain yourself. And then I love that Chuck just makes a beeline out of the conversation. He's like, I don't care about any of this, and just leaves.
Can't like take any of this seriously when they are screaming the word like, you invited people to my salon. I'm picturing just like a bunch of old women in curlers at Dan's place. Like, salon to me will never mean what they want it to mean.
Right? Who came up with that naming of this salon?
Same spelling.
Lola pulls Nate aside and says that, for my next trick, I'm going to prove once and for all that Serena is Gossip Girl. And she's positive she's not wrong. She explained that Serena crashed the party because she heard that Dan was going to announce his new book. And she is sure that 30 seconds later, it's going to be all over Gossip Girl. And then this is when Nate's like, yeah, that doesn't prove anything. Anyone here could send in that tip, including Dan.
Yep. Yeah.
That's it.
Yep. I guess you could chalk this up to just like when Charlie was first on the scene.
Yeah.
And everyone's like, oh, well, she's new to the Upper East Side. I guess similar for Lola. She doesn't know how to play their game. But I don't know. I still falter a little bit for just handling this poorly.
You can tell this is not her game. Like, Charlie fit in well. Like, she was a con artist at heart, so she was able to
figure it out. There's a little bit of a learning curve, but she figured it out quickly.
My favorite runner of the episode here. It only happens twice, but now Rufus is walking in with Vanya, and Vanya's talking his ear off about Magnetic Field, the band that Rufus saw by himself a couple of weeks ago. Although now that we're seeing this, maybe he went with Vanya.
Yeah, maybe that'd be a cute friendship.
I'm starting to enjoy this friendship. Yeah, and I love that every time Vanya's here, he's excited to talk to Rufus about music, and then both times it's like photos right before disaster. It's like right before the shit's about to hit the fan. So Vanya leaves, and Rufus says hi to Lily, and she just icily stares him down without saying anything. And then eventually, after Vanya leaves, she asks Rufus if he's been secretly putting Ivy Dickens up in a hotel. And Rufus does not become a con artist himself.
If anyone could do
I knew
it,
that would get you,
Rufus could. It's like,
this is where he should have been.
When
Like,
I draw my
she stole
hands,
identity.
it's bad. It's real bad. But if I just shoot it at the wall, it's like Van Gogh.
Willem Dafoe.
That's the sound that comes out. Willem Dafoe.
Willem Dafoe.
See, honey, you work them up with the Willems.
I wonder if we can get Willem Dafoe as a guest on the pod now.
Definitely.
So Rufus, I don't even know where we were. Rufus explains, you left her penniless. I'm the one who convinced her to move out. I felt responsible. I couldn't let her live on the street. And I guess Lily's plan to quickly change the locks on Ivy worked, and now she doesn't have any money and is homeless. I can't believe it worked, but it did.
Yeah.
And then, honestly, I think a rare win for Rufus not letting Ivy be homeless.
Yeah.
I think it's nice.
It's good. It's a tough look for my girl Lily here. She's so hell-bent on keeping the wealth in the wealthy family.
Yes.
And it's ugly. It's an ugly look. But I guess this is what wealthy people do, unfortunately.
Yeah. She can't understand how Rufus could feel bad because she's a thief, even though she's not. Like, all of this was legally left to her. She did not steal anything from anyone. And then even if she was, she comes from nothing and would be stealing from billionaires. So, like, Lily, again, you said this is, a leopard can't change her spots, but Lily needs to chill out. Rufus reminds her that Ivy has no friends, no family, and no money, but Lily could care less.
Right, and I've been saying, like, to defend Lily the past few episodes with this situation, like, sure, I get where Lily's coming from as far as, like, thinking this woman, like, stole money from her mother and killed her. Now, like, we're getting to a point where this poor girl has absolutely nothing. It's not like she stole your apartment and a bunch of your money. She's got neither the apartment or the money or any of her own money, and, like, nowhere to live. And it's your doing. So
all Rufus is giving her is a hotel room, not even like anything nice.
Right. But it's on Lily's credit card.
Oh
Oh, so
yeah,
he
Lily
did
asked
on his own
Rufus.
personal
No,
credit card.
yeah, he
But
did.
I guess that's still kind of Lily's money in a way because
Still my money,
she's
bitch.
got no expenses, so
Yeah.
he's living on her dime.
Well, yeah, that's what Rufus says. He did what he thought was right, and that's when Lily says the magic words, "with my money." And for this, Lily was hitting Rufus with a double pointer finger, so that's how you know it's serious. She was like,
Oh, that's sexy though.
she was like, after what she did to our family.
She's one of the few like good actresses on this show. She's like, I was scared of her.
Wow.
I was scared.
And I haven't really seen her in much else besides Scream 3.
Yeah. Too bad.
It was a good death. It
She's
was a good
toast.
death. So Rufus points out he used his own personal credit card, and he's like, well, now I guess at least I know how you actually feel about me, and this is a much larger issue.
He shouldn't even have to say
again,
that though,
I
which
think
is so funny. Like it's that's not the point that he uses his own personal credit card. Like that's still so sad.
But, like, they got married. Conceivably,
Right,
like,
he shouldn't have to do that. He should be like, oh, it should be okay
Right,
that
they-
he used your shit.
they should be sharing their money. They should be sharing a bank account. I would assume that they do. Like, Lily should not be calling this her money. It's
And
their
for
money.
him to feel like he needed to use a personal card is also
Yeah.
sad.
Right. So, like, yeah. Again, I think Rufus is actually right for once.
Yeah, it's a tough situation. It seems like go all the way back to where this started, where they kind of reconciled, and we're here now. And it just has gone so far because of the money issue, and it seems like she really does love Rufus and enjoys him, but just likes the companionship, but needs to always have some sort of power over him, which is the money.
Right. But remember who's on top.
Yeah, yeah. Which is okay for in the bedroom, but I guess Rufus doesn't like
Yeah.
it in the overall.
Rufus, remember who's pegging who in this relationship.
I thought it was just sexual. I didn't know it was the dynamic of the entire relationship.
At the salon, Blair is holding court. Dan needs to speak with her, though. Since everyone's crashing, April's running short on ice, so they need to run out and get some more, and dinner will be delayed. What'd they get? 4 crashers? Would they only get enough ice for exactly the amount of people
The
that
scene
were
is so funny.
like,
Too.
this
They
is-
zoom out on like 4 cups with ice in them.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't want to say anything, but not only are Serena, Lola, Nate, and Chuck, they're all here, but they use so much fucking ice whenever they get drinks. Their drinks are all ice. I don't know what's going on.
When I get a drink, I do love when I get like anything from Dunkin' Iced, fill that fucker up with so much goddamn ice. I love ice.
I think I'm gonna once the weather starts getting warmer, I think I'm gonna start experimenting with some iced matchas.
Hey.
Because people keep telling me that there's nothing more refreshing than an iced
Don't
drink on
spoil
a warm
anything.
day.
But the iced Dunkin' matcha in the Malt Madness tournament was pretty good.
Oh my God.
I know you said that you were expecting it hot, and I blue balled you and I gave it to you cold. And
Yep.
you enjoyed the sips that you had, and that's all I'll say. I haven't gotten a nice matcha since then. I'm very excited to get another one. But I like ice. I just like when something is as cold as itself. I don't like when you get something half iced and then it starts to like water it down. Then it changes the
Yes,
flavor
that's
completely.
bad.
It's bad.
That's bad. I hate watering it down.
Yeah.
I think I would not be using a lot of ice. I would be Blair and Dan's best friend. They would love me.
Yeah, yeah. Someone who's thrown a couple parties here and there, you gotta get tons. You gotta get more ice than you think you'd ever need.
Tons. More ice than you. Yeah, this is. I mean, Blair should know this. This is a
Yeah.
bad look on Blair. So they're gonna both go get some ice. I don't know who they leave in charge here while they leave, but their plan is just get everyone drunk while they're gone. And Lola wants to know why they're talking British literary figures when they have New York's most celebrated author in the midst. An author with an announcement, perhaps? Again, not suspicious at all.
Yeah, Lola, shut up, please.
Diana finally arrives, and she is just the person Serena wanted to see. She asks if she has a moment to speak privately, and she leaves her phone at the table, which Lola then swipes and unlocks it, because obviously someone with as many secrets as Serena right now doesn't put a lock on her cell phone. That is, and then
When
Lola
do we get
unlocks.
to the password lock screen era of this show? I guess it just doesn't happen.
I get it can't.
Otherwise, they wouldn't be able
can't
to write
happen.
episodes.
There would be no show. So Lola sees the app for the Gossip Girl video uplink, and she opens the app, goes to the Live to Gossip Girl feature, and starts recording Serena and Diana. Love this move, but why doesn't she just show Nate that Serena has like the Gossip Girl app on her phone? Isn't this like the proof she needs?
That's it. Just here. Look at this. She's got credentials
Look at
right
the
here.
she has. You go on here. She can put stuff onto Gossip Girl. She can stream live to
Right.
Gossip. She is Gossip Girl.
But then she ends up
she's-
she puts up one of the all-time greatest Gossip Girl blasts accidentally.
True. Yeah. Serena's telling Diana she wants to vet her before working with her. Like, I don't know. don't understand what she thinks the plan. I guess she thinks she's filming them, and Serena's going to be like, "By the way, I'm Gossip Girl," and she's going to like upload it live to Gossip Girl. Like, I guess she thinks that's what's going to happen. But then Serena just has a couple questions. Where were you on the night of Chuck's accident on November 18th? Diana answers. No one notices that like Lola's body and a cell phone are just jutting out from the wall behind them. Like she's not being coy about this at all. And so Serena keeps asking questions if Diana knows where Chuck was treated or his blood type or the day he was born or where she was on that date. And Diana knows what Serena is getting at. And then badass Serena tells her, well, if you know what I'm getting at, then why don't you answer for me? Or would you like me to do that? And at that moment, though, everyone gets the alert that Gossip Girl is going live. Don't know why everyone gets this alert so delayed. Like, Gossip Girl's been live for seconds at this point, but everyone gets the alert now. Yeah, I guess there's a slight delay. And then everyone sees Serena telling Diana, the nurse recognized you. You saved Chuck's life. And you did that because, and she finishes, I'm Chuck's mother. And, oh my God, it's Mommy Pain. I was gonna ask if you saw this one coming, but you clearly did.
I did too.
Still wild though, right? Well, it's still wild.
Yeah, it's. I didn't see it until this episode, if that says anything. But it was kind of funny.
That helps.
Yeah, knowing this early made her just walking into this party full of children look like, oh, there's a mom walking through. That's an adult walking through this party.
Chucky, you forgot your lunch, Chucky boy.
So you fucked your lunch,
Mom. Chuck, you forgot your alligator costume. Mom, it's not a costume party. Nate was wrong.
Do you think she would be a good mom for him?
I think we can prove that she's not. I think like she is not a good mom. She left him and then came back and fucked his best friend in his apartment.
Asked and answered.
Lola did not know what she was getting into when she started this live, so she scrambles to cancel the upload, but everyone has already seen the broadcast, so the damage is done.
It's so funny is watching her friend like, oh god, I shut this off.
Gotta turn it off before anyone sees.
Such a rookie.
Serena and Diana finally notice Lola right next to them, and they go out to the party. Everyone's murmuring. Chuck asks Diana if it's true, and Diana says that it is. And Chuck orders her to stay right there, and he calls her out for being in New York for months, inviting him to parties, hanging with his friends, hanging out in his apartment in her underwear, banging his best friend. Classic.
Yeah, that's the weirdest part. Honestly, is just like walking around almost in the nude.
Yeah.
Like, were there scenes of her like walking around in her underwear with Chuck, like able to see her?
I don't remember. I'm sorry.
But
like she was fucking Nate, so she probably just like walked out post-coitus, and yeah. And he says, "Did it not occur to you to mention this that you were my mother?" Chuck is obviously hurt.
Yeah, definitely funny. Like it's weird. It was kind of weird again, like not seeing him all episode long, and then the first thing he really gets to say is like a huge outburst about finding out who his mom is.
Yeah, and it's a good performance. Like you can see he's hurt. Diana tries to explain. He's like, I can't do this right now or ever, and he leaves. And you gotta feel for the kid. He's already been through so much, and now this.
Yeah, I think if this all happened maybe closer to when we flagged up the mother stuff initially, it would have a bigger impact on me. But since we took a 2-season long break and introduced it out of nowhere,
did this again? Yeah, out of nowhere, exactly. Yeah, we thought we were out of family members to fuck over Chuck, but now we're just saying this is your mom now. She can fuck you over.
Yeah.
So
I feel like I'm starting to feel like Chuck is like the Marissa Cooper of Gossip Girl.
A little bit, yeah. They're just like, you can't have a happy family no matter what. So Jenna calls this the most dramatic salon she's ever been to, and Julian calls it very un-British. Very funny that Blair and Dan are missing all of this at their own salon. Again, I don't know why both of them had to leave to go get ice. That's a one-person job. Like, what if something happens while they're gone? Like, this is happening to them right now. So Serena confronts Lola in the other room. She uses it as an opportunity to scold Lola, but Lola was just happy she was right. She's like, you're Gossip Girl. And then Serena just continues twisting it onto Lola. She's like, even if I am, it doesn't matter. Do you realize the damage that you've done? As if Serena hasn't done damage to like anyone as Gossip Girl.
Yeah, no, she's always on her high horse, that girl.
Serena keeps scolding Lola, but I need Lola to remember that Serena fucked up her audition for no reason other than jealousy.
I hate that her tail's between her legs right now. I'm like, no,
she needs to fucking attack Serena. Go at her.
Yeah.
She doesn't have it in her.
No.
Blair and Dan finally return, just in time for everyone to be leaving. Their new couple friends call out their party for being more soap opera than Salon. Never would have happened at the Oracle Club, which, after Wikipediaing, I am now finding out is their own salon. So they're really talking up their own. Would never happen at our party.
At the same time, like I would be happy to be at this party. It's pretty Like in that world, that's an
like,
iconic party.
yeah, but no, they just want everything to be pish posh. Let's talk about the Brits.
Mm-hmm. Well, not
So
the Oracle. That's the theme for this.
No. Right. So Blair and Dan's first event is a failure. I guess they couldn't handle the Crashers after all, especially leaving everyone alone when they got ice. So Blair's freaking out. The party was supposed to capture who they were as a couple, but it wasn't smart or interesting. It was a bloody mess. And Dan's like, it was just a party. But Blair thinks it was more. They're trying to create a new world for their relationship, but it failed, and she doesn't want to be in his world. He doesn't want to be in her world. So, where does that leave them? And Dan's like, oh, I don't know. So not looking good for everyone's favorite couple.
No. If they just got enough ice, they'll be fine, and Chuck would still not know who his mother is.
Exactly.
Just
as soon as Lola started recording something, Blair would have chucked some ice at her face.
Exactly. That's what I was trying to say.
Lola is genuinely sorry that she hurt Chuck today, but she's not sorry she hurt Serena. Which, yes, Lola, you tell her. But then Nate gets his coat and just glares at Lola on his way out. He's like, "I'm unhappy with you, matey."
I think he's more confused and doesn't know what's going on, so he just has his confused look. Like, I'm giving myself a headache.
All of a sudden, Serena gets down from her high horse and asks Lola, "Please don't tell anyone what you know." Wow, that was abrupt.
Like whiplash.
So, Lola does chase after Nate. Why would Lola listen to Serena's request? I mean, she did ask nicely, but Serena has been completely fucking her over for no reason.
Because she's got her by the mental balls. Like, she just scolds her and then guilts her. Scolds her and then guilts her back and forth. So she's like, I feel bad and I'm scared.
I've got you. Yeah. Lola stops Nate. She apologizes, says it's all her fault. And he's like, it's one thing to accuse Serena of being Gossip Girl, but sending in that video of Chuck, I can't forgive that. And maybe Nate should take a step back and think why these things are happening, because it makes no sense for Lola to just start going rogue for no reason. So let's just think about why it's could there be, let's just humor her for a second. Is there a possibility that this has to do with Serena? But no.
And it was live too. So it's not like she saw this video, sifted through oh, this is good stuff. Let me send this in. She was seeing what you guys were seeing.
Yeah. And so she could have known that was happening. How does Serena know this about Diana? There are questions here. Nate is this big journalist all of a sudden. He should be asking the questions.
Yeah.
But the only question he asks is if Lola has anything to say for herself, as Serena's just kind of watching them from behind, willing her to not say anything. Don't say it. Don't say it.
Don't even think about it.
And I guess her mind control and threats work because Lola does not say anything. She has nothing to say for herself, so Nate leaves in disgust.
Again,
and he
what she
passes
was
by
going
one
to
of
say
those.
Was Serena's Gossip Girl. Ooh. But he would have been like, no, she's not. We already did this dance.
Exactly, yeah. But again, she has the same amount of proof that she has always had. So yes. I don't understand. But so Nate passes by one of those British guards that I guess they hired for the party. I think Dorota and Vanya should have dressed up as them. That would have been a lot of fun.
Yeah.
So Serena comes over to Lola and thanks her, and Serena just continues to ruin Lola's life. But this one is on Lola a little bit. I'll give her that. But she just let Serena have this one for no reason.
It didn't have to happen. I don't like this team up either. It's just a one-sided abusive relationship.
Yeah, it's not even much of a team up. Yeah. So Diana comes to the Empire. She tells Nate that she wants to speak with him and Chuck, but Nate puts his foot down. He's like, we have nothing to say to you. But Chuck comes out and says she can stay. He may be angry, but he needs to know the truth, which, yeah, that does make sense. You do want to know the truth.
Yeah. So Diana Payne comes in her underwear to talk about it.
Yes. I want Nate to feel more at home here, so I'm just going to strip down to my down to our skivvies party here. Dan and Blair post Salon. Dan has a bag packed, but he's not running away or joining the army. Blair thinks he might be joining one of those America's Got Idol Talent Factor shows, but Dan was just hoping he could have a sleepover with Blair. And Blair's like, you do realize that means you're entering my world. Why? Because of a slumber party? Seems dramatic, but okay. Yeah, I guess we need stakes. By you sleeping over, this says that you
can
are
never
joining
go anywhere else again.
Give me the key to your Brooklyn loft. You can never go back. So, Dan says their relationship is not choosing one world over the other. Their relationship is their world. This was never a problem. They like each other because their interests are so similar. So, this was, I feel like this is just a fake problem.
Yeah. And it was a way to introduce us to those two people. I refuse to learn their names.
Without Julian and Jenna.
Yeah, the JJs.
The JJs. So they should have introduced themselves.
We're the JJs.
Blair points out the salon was a worldwide disaster, and Dan's like, it won't be our last, but we have to face the disasters as a team. And Blair asks if they can be a team at the Met Ball, and Dan agrees and then says they can also be a team at the Beet Pickling Festival. But he's just messing with her because Blair wouldn't be caught dead at a Beet Pickling Festival. So again, it seems like they're just going with Blair's world here. Yeah. Let's compromise. I'll go to your thing, but you go to my thing. But just kidding. I know you don't want to come to mine.
Time, if you're Dan, you kind of know what you signed up for. You should just whatever Blair wants to do, you just do it.
You could say that of Blair too, I guess, but no one wants to go to Beet Pickling.
No, I'm just saying, Blair is the kind of person that, she gets what she wants. So just assume that whatever she doesn't want to do, she's not going to do, and just you get dragged around by her, like Lily. She's Lily. Lily.
And then they kiss, and I feel nothing. It was the least romantic kiss I've ever seen.
Was the first one better or worse? First one was
I think the first one was
like a peck.
This one, it was it wasn't. Blair doesn't even kiss back. Dan's kissing her while she's smiling.
I'm enjoying this.
This is good. So, Diana is finally telling Chuck the truth. She met his father when he was still with Elizabeth. She was very young and she couldn't resist him. She knew he was married, but they had an affair, and it only ended when she got pregnant. And Chuck asks her why she gave him up. And she says, I was a mess, mixed up in the wrong things with the wrong people, unfit to raise a child. And then when Elizabeth couldn't get pregnant, it seemed like a way to solve all their problems. So they made a deal. Elizabeth left town, Diana left town alone and ashamed. And I feel for Diana a little bit here. It's a little confusing because the person who plays Diana is named Elizabeth, and then the other person is Elizabeth. So I'm getting confused.
Yeah, I was getting confused because I forgot Elizabeth's backstory too, and how she fit into the picture.
Right.
She was acting mother while Chuck was very little.
Yes, and then she left as well.
Right.
Because as Chuck says, she couldn't handle it either. So a few years later, Diana heard Elizabeth died, even though she didn't. So Diana came back. Elizabeth couldn't stick to her end of the bargain and raise someone else's child as her own. So I guess she left as well. And Diana desperately wanted to see Chuck, but she felt it would be too confusing for him, or Bart felt it would be too confusing for Chuck. So Chuck is still confused as to why she stayed away until 8 months ago. And she says when she came back to the city, she was hoping to watch over Chuck from afar. And then Chuck answers, Nate's bed is not that far. And he does, it's a very funny line, but he doesn't say it with a hint of comedy at all. He says it so seriously and he is clearly hurt, but the line itself was funny.
It is. I think you're allowed to laugh if you want to laugh.
Nate's bed is not that far.
Keep laughing.
Very good. Very, very good. Diana says she didn't intend things to get so serious with Nate, and then she thought if Chuck never found out the truth, then what's the harm? So Chuck asks what it all means now that he knows, and Diana says that's for him to decide, and he knows where to find her. And then she leaves, and Chuck has no idea what just hit him. So we finally have the truth. Chuck's mother reveal. Was it everything you ever dreamed of? Was it better than the first mother reveal?
Maybe better than the first mother reveal because it was quicker. Off like a Band-Aid. The first one I feel like was really dragged out.
True.
And also false. So this one's better, but
so by default, this one's better.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hotter mom.
Lil,
I gotta give him.
Okay.
That. Yeah.
All right, so we're gonna rank the mom hotness. Gotta do.
Gotta do it.
Diana's it should be you should be happy. Your mom's a MILF now. You should be thanking me, Chuck. Mommy's a MILF.
Look at my mommy milfers.
Look at me skivvies. Could Elizabeth ever wear these?
No, I guess you're right.
All right, I'll be in Nate's bed if you need me. Lola comes to Serena to return, I guess, the outfit she borrowed for her audition. Serena's back on her high horse, asking Lola, haven't you stirred up enough drama for the day? But then she asks why she didn't tell Nate when she had the chance. And Lola didn't because she knew it would hurt Nate too much if he found out. Nate and Serena are best friends, and he still cares about her even when they're mad at each other. So
I don't think that's right, Lola, because you couldn't have told him if you wanted to. You could not convey this information to him. You're incapable.
You did try, and it didn't work, and you don't have the ability. So she'd have us believe that she sunk her reputation just so Nate wouldn't be mad at the person that's currently ruining her life. I don't know.
I think she just was a coward.
Yeah, certainly seems like it. Lola didn't want to ruin Chuck's life and Nate's life in the same night. But before she leaves, she asks Serena why she does it. Lola clearly thinks that Serena's been Gossip Girl since the beginning, which would be crazy if she came into town for a couple of months and immediately is the only person in the world who was able to figure like out Serena. Like if this was Serena from the beginning,
Right.
like no one else has been able to crack it the whole time, but she has. But Serena tells Lola she only became Gossip Girl recently, and now it's the only thing she has, which is sad but true.
Sad but true. The blonde
She says
Unabomber.
it's the only thing. Yeah, she says the only thing I can hold on to because a lot of times my life is just really out of control. And Lola tells Serena she gets that, but she's doing exactly what was done to her and everyone else. And that is exactly what I was thinking. Like how quickly Serena was able to forget.
Yeah, and it is worse than Gossip Girl because she's making up narratives that kind of just benefit her. Gossip Girl is just kind of reporting what's coming to her.
Yes. At least Gossip Girl can always just say, hey, I'm just a reporter. Serena's like, how can I fuck over Lola?
Yeah.
So, yeah. Serena somehow tries to twist this, says, yeah, I was hurt, sure, but I survived. A little adversity can actually be good for you. Which, oh, that's interesting, Serena, because when you weren't Gossip Girl, you thought that Gossip Girl was literally the worst person on the planet. Now a little adversity is good? Okay.
Yeah, especially after you just said like that you're in a bad place.
Yes. Yeah. And that Gossip Girl's the only thing that you have. So, Serena tells Lola, you'll see how things work around here. But actually she won't. Lola is officially resigning from the Upper East Side. She wants to go back to Juilliard where she belongs. So if you want the Upper East Side back, it's all yours. You're the only it girl that matters. Anyway, you see to that yourself. She got her. I don't love that she's giving up without fighting, but she did get in a good blow before leaving.
Yeah, and I think leaving in its own right is a blow. It's like, hey, you guys are obsessed with this place and yourselves, and I don't want to be here. I think just like not wanting to be there is kind of being above Serena in a way.
Have fun, loser.
Have fun, loser. Is that L for Lola that you're putting up?
Yes, L for
Put up
Lola.
the Lola L's.
You didn't notice that she'd been doing that every episode, every time she left her room. She was like, she said I'm Lola.
Wear a hat with the L on it wherever she went.
Yeah, she was always wearing that.
Is this
Rufus is drinking. I was going to ask you. Do you have a prediction? Is this it?
She calls her mom. The way they end this episode with her, it didn't seem like it was the last of her. I don't know.
I'll let you think about it.
No.
We'll
see her again. I don't
we'll
know
come
why
back
or
to
how,
this.
but
She does have one more scene with her with calling mommy, so
okay.
I'll ask you after that one. Rufus is drinking alone.
I think she's going to be back. So.
Don't reveal.
All right.
We need people to stick to the end of the pod. Rufus is looking sadly at all the couples enjoying themselves, and then the bartender comes back and tells Rufus that his debit card was declined. He ran it 4 times to be precise.
Yeah, you have to laugh. Yeah.
So Rufus paid instead. So what happened here? Did Lily like cut off Rufus?
I guess that's what they're implying, but I before he said he has his own personal credit card, and I guess you'd assume debit card.
Well, this was his debit card that got.
So he just hasn't had any money because he didn't have to.
I don't know. No, because I think it's implied because he should have funds. Like if he's using his debit card, he doesn't think that it's going to get declined. So like how is Lily able to cut him off? Because they're married, so you'd think they'd be like sharing a bank account. But
yeah, right.
Also, what a cold badass move from Lily to tell her husband to go fuck himself and that he's not allowed to like use her money anymore.
I guess so. I guess she now froze his assets as well.
I need you to free some more assets. This is wild. Maybe she just like took all the money out of the account and it's just like
either way, she
hiding it in
either shut
another
it down
account.
or took money out of it.
It's wild. This is crazy.
Good thing he had cash. Like if this was 2024, I don't think he'd have cash on him.
I think he could have used his credit card still.
She probably canceled that shit too. She definitely canceled that one, especially because that's the one he was using to fuck Ivy with.
Serena's not slowed her roll at all. Even with Lola knowing her identity, she's still blasting away. Looks as if the spotlight has dimmed on ingenue Lola Rhodes.
Also, this is maybe the craziest thing she's done all episode long. Like makes amends with her. I think she says, like, "I'm leaving now. I don't care anymore." Goes typing away.
Yeah. Exactly. So Dan and Blair are in bed. They're having a fun literary debate. Some great pillow talk. I hate them. They're so annoying.
Yeah. This would be so much cuter if they were just like next to each other on the couch, like watching a movie and like just bantering back and forth.
And if they were friends instead of lovers.
Yeah. And like the occasional like over the pants like diddling is fine.
Yeah, as friends do. Just a little over the pants action
like,
when you're
think?
bored.
That's why we do this show over Discord, because if we didn't, we'd be over the pants diddling the entire episode.
The entire episode, wow.
As friends do.
As friends do. So Chuck is sitting and staring at the Empire in his room. Nate's doing his best to be a good friend to Chuck. He's like sitting with him, refilling his drink, just kind of, being there for him.
Yeah, he's a good bud.
And then Lola calls Carol. She tells Carol she was right. She never should have stepped foot in the Upper East Side because it's toxic. But she's done with it. There's nothing else tying her to the Vanderwoods, and it's a huge relief. Is this really the end of Lola?
I feel like Carol's going to find a way to drag her back in. But it's not going to be Lola's doing. It's going to be something Carol does.
I'm actually now realizing, like, her saying there's nothing else tying me to the Vanderwoodsons is ironic because she has not had the reveal yet that who her dad is.
Oh, wow. Okay, so yeah, there's got to be that, I guess.
Yeah,
I forgot it's been so obvious to us that I assumed she knew by now.
Yeah,
but she has
no,
not been
she'll be back. Yeah, we still have to have the Papa reveal. We had the Mama reveal. We need the Papa reveal.
Okay, so then in that respect, we'll have her to the end of the season. Then she's done.
You think so?
Yeah.
We'll see. 4 more episodes.
Wow.
So, speaking of reveals, Diana gets a text from Gossip Girl. We both know that's not the secret I was talking about. What?
There's more?
Secret could there possibly be?
Hey,
a classic cliffhanger that doesn't
lived.
reveal anything.
Which are the ones
It's a cliffhanger that's like, yeah, it's a cliffhanger that's like, there's something else, but it doesn't give us a hint at all about that something else is.
Guess what? There'll be another episode.
There is.
Okay.
Well, I'll be back, I guess. So that is our episode. Let's get into some segments here. Let's do the user review of the week. There were actually 3 IMDb reviews. There was Comedy Fan and 2 others. One person reviewed for the first time ever, and they were like, I know this is my first review, but I just have to say how bad this episode is, and they gave it a 1 out of 10. But that is not what I'm going to read. I pulled from the Gossip Girl wiki. On April 17th, 2012, a fandom user said, Dare is too bland. I mean, seriously. No. Oh no, we ran out of ice. That's their biggest problem? Like, what the fuck? The show is meant to be about scandals and hot romances. Cough. Chair. Cough. And this is obviously not a hot romance, considering the fact that Blair is just starting to get really annoying, and Dan, a.k.a. The Muppet, already crossed that line a long time ago.
The Muppet? Wow. Harsh.
Yeah, Blair once said that Dan's hair was like a Muppet.
Oh, okay. The only defense I have in this plot line is that they're just showing you how bad it would be if they were together. Like, hey, look at this. Don't you want Chuck so badly now?
Hopefully that's what we're leading to, because I agree with a fandom user.
Yeah.
Next week, the episode is titled Despicable B. You have any predictions based on the episode title?
Something that Blair does opens up another salon. This time, there's hair.
this time there's hair. So the preview says Nate digs into Diana's past.
Is that a euphemism?
Oh, she digs into that past, all right. She digs into her past, and she digs into her ass.
Yeah, hell yeah.
Hell yeah, brother.
Hell yeah, brother.
Crikey, brother. He should have still been dressed as Steve Irwin in that scene where he's comforting Chuck.
It definitely was.
Please, Nate, take the outfit off. Let's grade the episode. I went first last week. Brendan, you can go first this week. What do you grade this lovely episode?
It's definitely not the worst out of the chunk we've been watching as of late. I didn't like any of the Dan and Blair stuff. Like I said before, though, it could be something of let's show them how bad the show can be if Chuck and Blair are not together. So maybe there's a driving force there. I don't like any of that, though. It's tough. I don't like the stupid JJs, I'll call them. I don't remember their names. I don't want to. I just don't like when cameos last for that long in an episode. It's bad. Lola has an interesting episode, and we are kind of both on board that Serena was fun in this episode in an awful way. So I didn't mind that at all. The Diana Payne reveal is not like a crazy reveal by any means, but it's something that finally wraps up a 3-season long arc, if you can call it that. So I'm glad that there's a bow on that. And Rufus and Lily was like surprisingly interesting. There wasn't much to it, but what it's going to bring, I'm sure they're going to ruin it and make it bad. But so far, it's like the most interesting thing that they've had going on as a duo in a while. So I'll give this one a C+.
Okay. A C+ from Brendan. For me, I don't know. I'm at this. It's like at the point where I'm thinking, like, why does the show still exist? The Blair and Darren storyline, that was the one you had a problem with as well. That's the one I have a problem with. It's beyond pointless. I don't care about them as a couple. I don't care about the success of their salon. I can't believe that this is the main drama we're expected to care about with them. It's a waste of everyone's time.
Yeah.
And
You're
like
handcuffing
as the
Blair here,
fandom user
too.
said. You are. I don't even remember the last time I gave Blair an MVP. She's been like first she was like handcuffed to Louis. Now she's handcuffed to the Blair like to the dance. Like it's bad. It's a bad season for Blair, unfortunately. The whole Gossip Girl Serena versus Lola thing is stupid, but like at least it's giving us something. Serena's complete turn to villain was kind of fun, but it is frustrating to see Lola figure everything out and then do nothing with it. So like that is not the spirit of the Upper East Side. It kind of proves that Lola doesn't belong here. Like anyone else takes the knowledge that Lola has and makes a fun episode out of it, but
Yeah.
Lola tries a little bit and then just like gives up. So it's again like why are we watching this? And the Rufus and Lily thing, kind of interesting, like you said. Fighting over how to handle the Ivy situation and like Lily throwing her big dick around to get her way, but I don't know. Why are they making Lily and Rufus have like this tension so late in the series run? Like at this point, shouldn't Rufus and Lily just be like the parents in the background?
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
putting the marriage in jeopardy now just seems like too much. And then also, if you're gonna have Ivy drive the plot, I wish we could see her, but you know, maybe they don't want to pay her for this episode. But no, she's main cast, so she's getting paid anyway. Whatever. I think the storyline that worked most for me was the Chuck Diana storyline. We haven't gone far enough into it really. It kind of came out of nowhere, but we got the reveal here who Chuck's mother is. It may have been a little unsatisfying because you know we revisited this kind of out of nowhere, but they both gave good performances, and it's nice for us and for Chuck to finally get some answers. And it'll be interesting to see how this plays going forward. So this getting revealed via accidental Gossip Girl live video, that was fun. The episode had some fun moments and some jokes, but a very underwhelming cliffhanger because we still don't know what Diana's big secret is, but apparently it's not this one. So mostly just a mess for me, but the Chuck and Diana stuff is enough to get it all the way up to a E plus instead of a D or D minus for me. So
Okay.
I'm gonna go D plus. You're gonna go C plus. Not the strongest episode yet again, but Brendan, who's your MVP?
I have no idea.
Wow.
This is a really difficult one, and I'm stuck between two people that are really not deserving. And there's someone I want to give it to much less.
Julianne and Jenna.
Yeah, exactly. I give them. No, I could never. I would never do that to them. They don't deserve that. I will give it to Chuck for gaining a mommy. He's
Yeah, oh, okay.
He
Gaining
skipped
a
the whole
mommy.
first half of the
I
episode.
thought
I
you
think
said-
is a good thing because it wasn't like the best episode, so he can skip some time and come in and have a strong finish, like we were saying before. It's good. He had that big scene where he gets the reveal, and the actor acts pretty well. Forget his name offhand.
Ed Westwick. We
Ed
don't need
Westwick.
to talk about Ed
Yeah,
Westwick.
yeah, I know.
Yeah.
But
Just
I don't know.
shady feelings.
He was the only character that didn't have a tough and Serena maybe deserves an MVP, but I just can't find it in myself to give her one. The other person I was thinking of was maybe Rufus, but he ends the episode in such a sad sack way that I couldn't give it to him either. So I guess Chuck is the only one that really gains anything in this one.
In that scene with Rufus, the bartender should have come back and been like, "And for the last time, we don't have waffles and we don't have syrup here. So please stop
Please
asking."
stop.
I think Chuck's a good call. I almost want to give it to Nate for the Steve Irwin cosplay, but
I
then I
know, that
remember
didn't
he
really
didn't actually
happen.
do that. He didn't really have it. So.
Wasn't a great punch.
For me, after giving Serena the LVP 3 weeks in a row, I am going to switch things around and give her the MVP. I kind of flagged it up a little last week that Serena was becoming so terrible that I was starting to like ironically enjoy her, and now I think she's coming out on the other side. The way she handles the Lola situation is so mean and devious that it's just comical, and the way she obviously tips her hand to Lola is funny too. But then she does well after that. Like she has such a good relationship with Nate that he tells her about the Lola theory, even though they were previously fighting. She's able to get Diana to confess to being Chuck's mom to her, and then when Lola has all the information and proof to accuse Serena of being Gossip Girl, Serena's able to effectively gaslight her into just giving up. So Serena still gets to be Gossip Girl, which is the only thing she has. She drives Lola out of town, and then she actually had some funny lines at the salon. So Serena somehow gets my MVP this week.
Yeah, I fully agree with you. I just couldn't find it in myself to.
No,
Give
I
her
get
the
that too.
award.
I get that
Yeah.
too. Who is your LVP?
My LVP, I think it might go to Rufus just because he's such a sad sack by the. I don't know. I don't want to give it to him because he does such a nice thing. It would be the way his episode ends is such an LVP ending of an episode. But maybe I'll give it to Lola because she is fully kicked out of the Upper East Side. She says it's on her own accord and under her own power. But Serena did bully her enough to a point where she was She started the episode on her high horse, thinking she was going to get at least an audition for this big role, one of her first, and it ends the episode just defeated and without a boyfriend and out of the Upper East Side.
Yeah, tough episode for Lola. For me, I'm sorry, but I'm keeping it in the family, and I'm giving the LVP to your girl, Lily. I already think she's being needlessly cruel to Ivy, and now she's being needlessly cruel to anyone who helps Ivy, including her own husband, Rufus. She's ruining her marriage just to make a point and kicking Ivy while she's down.
They're sexy.
Double finger.
Come on.
She doesn't need to do that. She's making it clear to Rufus that she doesn't see them as equals, and then she's like grounding him and cutting off his allowance. Like, that's too much.
That's awesome.
So Lily gets my LVP. That does it for the segments, except of course for everyone's favorite segment, Lonely Boys Theater, and we are going to be doing that Gossip Girl live scene where Serena gets Diana to reveal that she is Chuck's mother.
Wow.
Brendan, would you like to be your mumbling queen, Serena?
Oh, yes, I would.
All right. So if you have your script in front of you, I do as well. So whenever you're ready.
Oh, wait.
Okay. Take your time.
Okay, what is the first
Oh,
line?
yeah, go for it. I just have a
Scrolling
couple
up
of
and down.
questions.
I just have a couple of
Or
questions.
you could just edit this out in post.
I just have a couple of questions. That's how I'm going to read it, too. I'm going to go, I just have
I
a
just
couple of
have a couple of questions.
I just have a couple of questions. Like, where were you the night of Chuck's accident? November 18th, to be exact. I wasn't done talking. November 18th. Hold on. Let me just say the date.
Sorry.
November 18th, to be exact.
I was here in New York.
Was that Nate? Oh, stay.
Crikey. Nate, stay out of this, please. I was here in New York. Sorry. We know that you were in New York, Nate. Please be with you in a second in my skivvies, please.
Do you happen to know where he was treated for his injuries or his blood type? Do you know the date he was born or where you were on that date?
I know what you're getting at.
Well, if you know what I'm getting at, then why don't you answer for me? Or would you like me to do that?
What do you want me to say?
The nurse recognized you because you were also wearing a nurse's outfit. You saved Chuck's life, and you did that because...
I'm Chuck's mother.
Oh, I was genuinely asking. I wasn't insinuating anything.
Well, I'm Chuck's mother, and I don't care who knows it as long as it doesn't get blasted in front of Gossip Girl. I'm Chuck's mother, and I fucked his best friend. And I do it again, too.
What was it for you stupid kids in that mutt, too?
Wow, what a scene. Everyone loved it, and that'll do it. I don't have any guests to thank, and I don't have to ask them what they're plugging because they don't exist. So I'll just jump into you, Brendan. What are you plugging?
You would like that, wouldn't you? Sorry, we're not in person. Can't talk like that to you.
In person. No over the tops.
No over the tops. It's that time of year where even though I vowed to only plug the Patreon, which I will plug now, the patreon.com/boysmedia, where you can find all of our OC content. I won't be plugging just that, even though it is fantastic content where you can get a bunch of episodes for only $3. You can binge all 20-something episodes in 1 month for $3. What a value! What a value! So go. You could find that in. I think I've been putting it in the description of these episodes. If you need a place to find that and you can't remember Boys Media like a fucking idiot. But I'll also be plugging, since it's March now. I think at this point when this comes out, last week will be the first episode of Malt Madness. It is the 4th year we're doing this.
Green drinks. Green drinks. Green.
The first episode is famously the Green Bracket, a.k.a. the non-alcoholic bracket that Matt Kagan here is the inaugural guest for Malt Madness 4. What a fun episode. So
Talking about Mountain Dews, baby.
Talking about Mountain Dews, baby. So listen to the Hoppy Boys wherever you get your podcasts, or if you've been watching these Lonely Boys videos, it'll be on the same YouTube channel, Boys Media YouTube channel. Type in Hoppy Boys, and you'll find some delicious, delicious content.
Oh, so delicious.
So delicious. Certain drinks were very delicious.
Yeah, obviously. Obviously, I have to
remember off the top of my head, your bracket was Sprite, matcha.
That's right.
Ice matcha. There was a Mountain Dew. There was a Baja Blast. There was a green tea.
Yep.
I know there was Starry. That's 6.
Yep. Kool-Aid Jammer.
Kool-Aid Jammer. I think it was strawberry kiwi.
And then the tea.
The iced tea.
Yeah.
Okay, there we go. That's 8.
There it is.
Okay.
Oh, a lot to look forward to there.
Look forward to.
For me, this is, we threw around the term high horse a little bit. Speaking of high horse, the day that this gets released, the new Casey Musgraves album will be released.
Whoa, mama. That's exciting.
Super well, so that's exciting. Yeah. Ariana Grande will have had an album out for a week at this point.
Wow. Oh, wow.
So we're being well fed. You can check that out.
That's exciting.
I plugged this already, but check out my appearance on the BoJack Horse Pod podcast where I was talking to Tuca and Birdie. And don't spoil the Oscars for me.
Don't.
I'm going to be watching on Sunday. You're hearing this in the future, so don't spoil them for me.
And,
I finally, as of
more
today,
important than the Oscars, the Blitzball Battle Championship is coming up soon.
Oh, of course. As of today, I've now watched all of my all the Oscar movies.
Good boy. That's a good boy.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I really liked Anatomy of the Fall.
That's what I've been trying to watch, and I just keep forgetting I want to watch it. I heard it was $20 on Apple TV, and I'm like, maybe I'll catch it at Cinema Arts Center. As long as there's no discussions involved, I'll go see that at Cinema Arts Center. Yeah, it looks like really good when I saw the trailer for it before I knew it was an Oscar movie. It's like, I would see that. And there's more buzz, more and more buzz. And
buzz.
Sounds good. I think I've seen maybe about half the Best Picture noms, and I always get to this point and I forget how quickly Oscar season comes up, and I'm like, And then once it happens, you feel like you don't want to catch up on the movies that were just talked about.
Right.
So you kind of lose steam. But
shame, I know your name.
I know. I'm bad.
It's all right. Well, I think that just about does it for us. Next week, hopefully we have the guest era comes back, but you can, how do I end this thing? You can follow me on Twitter at MattyFresh24. You can follow Brendan at Ruppy Puppy. You can follow his other podcast, The Hobby Boys, at The Hobby Boys Pod. And you can come back next week where we should have the guest back. And we'll be breaking down Season 5, Episode 21, Despicable B. But until then, you know you love us. XOXO. Lonely boys.
Bye-bye. Stay lonely.